I deleted all the pictures of you I had on my Instagram. You can't see it in my dreams, I hold you close just like I wish I can. It's late at night,
this
I
song
know
for
you're
real?
gone, and I can't sleep cause you moved on. I
mean,
wish
the
I
opening line
tried,
was
but
about
you're
deleting
with
off of
someone
Instagram.
else tonight. Why do we end up broken hearted? Running right back to
Yeah. What's up, everybody? It's Friday. What are you doing? Are you getting pumped? Oh, I gotta see the hype train. All right. Alyssa's here. Let's end this song. Hold it. What's up, Internet? What are you doing? I gotta move Alyssa's camera a little bit.
Oh.
Yikes.
I probably moved.
I poked it with something. I think I bonked it. Oh. My God, it was lined up before, and I think I bonked it. I was trying to hook up something up there, and yeah, that happened. Okay, what's up? That's how we seamlessly open the show. How's everybody doing? How you doing today? Oh, am I supposed to start out like this? I think I'm supposed to start out like, hey, everybody, it's Friday. Welcome to Friday. Alyssa got stuck in the traffic, and there was so much traffic, and Alyssa's here, and she's off to the side. She's not quite here yet, so hold on. Let me push the button over here. Oh, my God, Alyssa's here. Whoa, there we go. Hey, what's up, dude? What are you doing? Hey, whoa.
Well, I'm not flattened by any of the 18-wheelers that were surrounding my tiny little car.
Welcome to the traffic, brah. Yeah, they got so the Interstate 5, running north to south from all the way from California all the way to Canada, was built right after World War II. Right after or right before or during World War II? I forget. When was I-5 built? Let's look that up real quick. Coming up on the Friday show.
Super important.
I-5 was built in what years? There we go. July, what the, 1964? That's when it was constructed? I thought it was older than that. The interstates were built to move troops around, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Federal Highway Act of 1956. Okay, so I guess I thought it was before that, but turns out it inaugurally opened in Washington in 1969. The summer of hot and sexy love.
Ooh.
That's when Woodstock was, and they called it that. And then guess what? The United States government federally implemented a whole bunch of crazy drug laws in order to put all those people in jail. Oh! Yeah.
Well, you can't have those hippies voting.
Welcome to the year 2021, where we somehow think it's normal that if you were to, like, I don't know what, we were talking about this the other day, where it's like marijuana is a Class A felony drug possession or whatever, right? In a lot of, like, federally still, right? Something crazy like that?
It's still bad federally.
Yeah, one of the leverages that they use against a lot of the states and stuff like that is this highway, the interstate funding, by the way. I know people are like, hey, why do we listen to the federal government so much? And it's for funding, like Interstate 5, for instance, is how they kind of leverage that when you're in the House, and then when you're in the Senate, and then when it goes to get its final document signing from the executive branch. They're like, hey, what are you guys doing over there, you rapscallions? We're going to take away your road money.
And then we're like, that's fine, because up here on the I-5, us states, we kind of give you guys more than you give us. So
who does that?
The I-5 states. California, Oregon, and Washington.
Oh, we chip in, bro. We chip in our fair share. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. Mm-hmm.
More than, generally. But, what are you going to do? Let's see. Don Gallagher was born in the winter of 1969.
Oh, wow.
Was that like January or December? Beginning or the end?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, because it would have been the summer of love 1968 had he been born in like January, right? Or the spring of love.
The spring of...
For Don's parents.
Yeah, the spring of...
Don's parents were getting frisky.
He was springing into it.
Yeah, springing. They were sprung. They sprung right into the year and conceived a baby. Ah, glorious 1968. It was a wild time. Boy, I tells you. What were my parents doing in '68? I think my dad was still. Doing military stuff then. I think. Let me see. We could do some math here.
Hold on.
We can't.
I'll do math too. It's fine. In '68, my dad would have been 16. My mom would have been 12.
My parents are much older than that. And speaking of that, I got a big shout out. Happy birthday to my freaking mom.
Whoa.
It's my mom's freaking birthday today.
Well, happy freaking birthday to your freaking mom.
Happy birthday to my mom. I know you're not watching my internet show because you never watch my internet show. Ah. I know she doesn't watch my show, but happy birthday to my mom, the matriarch.
Of your family.
The matriarch of my family. Mother. Happy birthday. We all know that she's not watching the show. They are currently on some kind of boating adventure or something like that.
Fun.
I believe. That's what happened when Olivia and I called Mom this morning. And one of the great things about having a child is just the weird things that they come up with. You know what I mean? It's like there's probably been some TV shows made about this. You know, it's like those kids, they say the darndest things, right?
Yes.
The darndest. Anyhow, so this morning I was trying to get Olivia. We were calling Mom on or my mom, Grandma, on the video call. You know what I mean? The video.
One of the many forms of video
calling. One of the
calling.
many forms of video calling, which,
Yes.
Yeah, we were calling, and then I was like, okay, it's Grandma's birthday. Get ready. We're going to sing happy birthday. And Olivia's straight up just like, Grandma, it's my birthday. It's like a happy birthday to me today because it's a happy birthday for me now. And it's like, Grandma's like, oh, it's my birthday too. And then Olivia's like, well, it's like my pinky birthday today. I don't know where she gets this from, but she's like, today's my pinky birthday. Of course, like my mom's husband, Grandpa, in the background, you hear him like, Olivia, you've had like 6 birthdays this year already. What's going on? You know, it's like it's your pinky birthday. What's happening? And then she didn't want to sing happy birthday. I think she might have been a little bit embarrassed or something. So I was like, happy birthday to you. I was like singing it like quietly to her. And so she was singing it really quietly like I was. Happy birthday to you. You're like, why are you whispering right now? You need to make sound so people will hear your
But she wanted to
your
do it
utterances
with you.
of noise.
She was taking your cues.
Well, yeah, she's accepting cues. You got to say she'll probably be pretty good at improv because she's definitely yes and
Yeah.
she's not shutting down the improv. You know what I mean? She's literally like, yes, we are in a spaceship. Yes, we are space aliens. Yes, that's right. We are aliens. We're coming to steal your cheese because we have many enemies on our alien planet that are lactose intolerant, and we need to fight them with your cheese. We're here to steal your cheese to fight our imperial you know what I mean? She'd
Right.
be pretty good at it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Me too.
I imagine so. I don't know where that whole story came from,
Man, I
but
tell
it's
you guys,
epic,
it
and
would
I
be
would
fun.
watch that cartoon.
It would be fun to get back to doing some improv stuff and or making freaking YouTube videos if I didn't have to make them by myself all the time. I have to admit, I don't want to continue to make YouTube videos by myself all the time. It makes me sad. Okay,
I think that's why I'm here, you guys. So
that's not why you're here. You're here because you're my friend and you know about fish, and we're doing a show about fish generally stuff.
that's true.
And but you were here before.
Yeah.
It didn't make me sad before. The pandemic hit, and I really came to the conclusion that it makes me really sad
To be alone all the time.
to be alone all the time.
Yeah.
Well, I had to make the assessment of, like, what am I doing with this YouTube stuff? And it's like, I swear to God, every time I was reviewing one of my old videos, it's just like this self-aggrandizing, like, hi, welcome to my video. We're here to just talk about whatever the hell I'm doing, and that's all we're going to talk about, and that's the only thing that's going to happen. And it's like, like creatively, this hurts my brain. This even hurts my feelings. And then I started watching other people's YouTube videos and started to realize they're all like that too.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's just like, where did we get to this point where there's like one creator, one star, one editor, one singularity of nonsense? And it's like, it's super easy to get to the point where somebody just has like this singular opinions on things, and that's all the only thing you'll ever hear, you know?
Yeah.
And I kind of realized that a little while ago, that like I just don't want to be insulated and be like the voice of reason. Like, I feel like I'm a reasonable guy and I have reasonable opinions on things, and I love having discussions about things in order to like kind of vet what information may or may not be true. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then how do we go from there to move forward? Like, oh, you've got a thing, I've got a thing, we tried this thing, you tried that thing, blah, 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 blah. And that's really what I wanted to do. I was focusing on that before, and I was trying to do that with the community, and I realized that it has become very difficult for the general interaction of the average person to try and like stay roped in and engaged with a community that's online, right?
Right.
Like, it's difficult. Like, we have like probably 20 people on the Discord that are generally like kind of always around.
Yeah.
But then we have like 300 people that are just floating around in the periphery, and we never really hear from them. And I think it's just because they're busy. They're busy doing stuff. They're busy doing this, that, and the other thing. They probably have, you know,
and
all
a lot
these
of
other
people
things that they're engaged with, right?
A lot of people, people have different interaction needs. Like, some people want to actually talk to you or me or other people within the tight-knit community, and other people want to basically use it like television,
Right.
which both are valid.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just, it's just a thing. It's just a way to think about it. Like, this is what's happening.
Different vibes for different folks, right?
Different strokes for different folk.
Different strokes. Then we're getting back into talking to the Summer of Love, 1969.
Just bringing it all back around.
Yeah, we're tying it together. Yeah, tying it together. This show is all about synergy.
Yes.
And callbacks.
Circles.
Callbacks. And circles. Oh, God. Circles in the background. We're losing our minds. I'm trying to figure out, like, how did I get your thing to be, like, your video is, like, slightly opaque, and I don't realize, how did I do that?
You mean slightly translucent?
Opaque, right?
Opaque is where you can't see through it, and translucent is where you kind of can. Like, a ghost is slightly translucent.
I gotta look this up.
You increase the opacity to...
Yeah, ejective, non-transparent, or translucent, impenetrable to light, not allowing to pass. But opacity is like the increased right? Examples of opaque in a sentence. In the opening hour, a group of strangers receive a maddeningly opaque cell phone summons to join a secret cross-country race. What the that's not a sentence. Yeah, but I thought, like, right. So, like, what I'm saying is, like, I think this is opaque in the fact that, like, it's 99, or it's like 96% opaque. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what
Okay.
yeah. You get what I'm saying? I don't know. It's like the opacity on here has gone down for some reason, and I don't know how I managed to do that. Is it the full dynamic range? Is that why? No, that's not it. Hold on. We're going to figure this out.
Okay.
It's bugging me. Yeah, see, there's alpha. The alpha. Maybe it's the alpha? That's what it was.
Oh.
Alpha was turned down by 3 points.
3 points.
We had 3 points of... So
3
I think
points from Gryffindor.
Yeah, so I
turned
think...
the alpha down.
So I think what it was is we were 97% opaque is what I was trying to... That's what I was trying to convey
Okay.
Was that like we have 97% opaque, but not 100? There we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, no reason to be sorry. It's just like, wait a minute, what am I saying? Because there's probably people at home going like, this guy's an idiot. What's wrong with this dude? Yeah. Okay.
Everybody is an idiot sometimes.
J-Rock Does Stuff says people are either looking for info or connecting with others in most cases. Sharpie's model says, whoa, Ghost Joel hand slapping Alyssa in the kissa. Yeah, see, now I can wave my arm around back here without freaking people out. There we go.
That's good.
And I remember from last week that I was like, oh, yeah, I got to fix that. And then today has been sort of hectic. And then we had the traffic situation. And then I was talking with Wesley on the phone here while I was waiting. And I didn't fix that part. I didn't fix that portion of whatever the hell I had done. Let's see. We can shift these slider knobs around a lot. You know what I'm saying? We can definitely do that. I feel like you were looking a little peaked there. There we go. We'll fix that so you don't look like you're all blushing. There we go. Now you look normal. There we go. Okay. Let's see. What the hell? Let's read this chat. Who was first to the chat today? It was Pipex. Followed by Matthew Romero, Frank Dominguez, Wesley's Fish Club, Chirish, who is our newest member, I believe.
Oh, wow.
To the YouTube channel, which means... Oh, no, Chirish is not the newest. Chirish has been displaced by our newest member, Jared. Where did it go? Where's the list? Oh, there it is. Jared Byer is our newest member, but Chirish is our second newest member.
Well,
there we go.
Chirish, you're still very important.
Which means we have
even
to
if
update.
you're not the newest person.
We have to update this number right here. I'm on the wrong thing. What? I want this. Why is it doing that? Hold on. Oh, that's why, because I have this. There we go. Let's update this number instead. Oh, I'm going to punch you. I'm going to punch this thing. I have to move everything around so I can get to this number. There we go. 80. We have 80 YouTube members, which some people would say is definitely a round of applause and is totally cool. Somebody asked me a while ago, and it might even have been Alyssa who was asking me about this, like, hey, what's the number? What's the number we got to get to in order to become independent? And I was like, I think that I don't want to say the number because the number will sound insurmountable to people if I do say it out loud. But it's like if we get to like 700 members, it would be like, oh, F it, I'm going full time.
Yeah.
Like, all right, we're doing this. We're going full time. We lost some patronizers. I don't know why. They left, and they didn't give me an exit interview. They didn't.
Oh.
They left their job, and they didn't give us an exit interview. And then somebody fixed their patron. So there we go. 173 and 80 members. I'm not trying to math that right now. It's gonna. All right, 253, right?
I don't know. I don't want to.
Yeah. 253 people is what brought you this show. Whatever the show is, who knows? And also, we apparently the super chat function is working today. Big D Smoke with a freaking $20 super chat says, sharing the wealth got my yearly raise.
Nice.
Appreciate it, my brother. I appreciate that 100%.
Thanks, Dennis.
It's one of those things that I don't know how to I don't know how to make it relatable in a way that makes sense. I don't know. What am I thinking of here? What am I thinking of? I'm thinking of something. I very much appreciate the people that can help support the channel and support some of these projects. Like we're going to be driving down to Oregon in a couple of weeks to film. And just the gas in that's going to be about $250, I think, realistically.
You're taking your big.
I'm going to take the RV and everything down. Well, maybe it's only like $200 in gas, but then
That's still a lot of money.
The RV, because we have to pay, where we go. And I think that's like another $100 or something like that. So even just the driving somewhere like that is going to cost a fair little chunky monkey of money.
Are you going to do like the east or the west of Oregon?
South.
South. Ooh, cool.
Mhm.
Are there redwoods around there?
Maybe not.
Oh,
Maybe not. You know me, I'll take pictures of whatever's cool. If I
keep
see
meaning
some
to.
stuff, if I see some cool nature stuff, I'll get some action shots. I don't think that far north there's that many redwoods. I wonder. Let's take a look.
Because I thought it was like the southern edge of Oregon and the northern part of
Well-
California, but I could be.
Well, it's
completely-
true, but like the
incorrect.
southern edge of Oregon could be 100 miles from where we're gonna be, right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I don't know.
Do the redwoods go? Let's see.
How north do the redwoods go? That sounds almost like it should be in a poem.
This should be like a kid's story.
Yeah.
Yeah, children's book.
That and the stealing cheese for the aliens. 2 books right there.
Redwoods can make it rain.
Ooh.
Oh my God! I didn't even realize there was there strippers out there? What's going on? Redwoods can make it rain. Redwood trees prefer a moist environment to get all of the water they need for their gigantic size. They have adapted to help form their own habitat. Oh my God, they're like humans. Is that a mountain lion? Mountain lion. Yeah, watch out for mountain lions. This website is not helping for the question that we asked. Directions to okay, guys. Redwoods occupy a narrow strip. Okay, we're getting close. We're going to have the answer to this question. Here it is. Here's a map. We got a freaking map, dear. Can we move the map? There's more earth above this line in the map here. Can I zoom out? No, you just cut it off right here. Useless turd map. Okay, so sequoias go to the border of Oregon somehow, and then maybe above that, but the map cuts off right there. Not a very helpful map. You could show us a little bit where, well, I don't know. We'll see what I see. How about that?
Okay.
It looks like they're right on the coast, though, and we will not be on the coast.
Oh, okay.
So that's going to be the big problem.
Yeah, that's fine.
But I do have plans to go take pictures of the Classic 10, right? I believe it's what they're called. They're referred to. So the 10 biggest redwoods. They all have names. There's like the top 100 or something like that have names. They're all named and have like placards and stuff like that, so you can go check them out. Like here's the top 30.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, is this right? Tallest coast redwoods. This might not be the actual list. Tallest redwoods list. Here it is. Hyperion is the biggest. Helios, Icarus, Stratosphere Giant, the National Geographic, Orion, Federation Giant, Paradox, Mendocino, Millennium, like the Falcon, Apex, Pipe Dream, Harry Cole, Rockefeller, Minaret, I don't know, I think that's French or something, Alice Rhodes, Mother and Daughter, the Lone Fern. So there's a whole bunch of the biggest redwoods they all have names and everything. And so you can actually go, you basically like geocache each location, and then you can go there via the GPS points.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have some plans to go and hopefully take some photos of those, because it's pretty accessible to me living on the west coast of the United States. I can drive south and eventually hit where they are. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
Wayne has a big question.
Yes.
Says,
Which
"Help,
I think is
please."
for you.
It says, "Help, please. I have various Anubias. All the leaf tips are turning black. Is this phosphates or too much light? It is a low-tech tank, liquid ferts, iron, potassium, and carbon. Generally, the black tips are... I want to verify this. Hold on. Let me see. Black tips on Anubias. Because the first thing that popped into my head is that they're getting burned by ammonia and whatnot. Because I've had that happen in the past when I was overdosing tanks that didn't have any critters in there.
Yeah.
So you're sort of like,
I've got an Anubius that's growing in the most neglected freaking tank I've ever had.
yeah.
It's just like, it's like, I'm so happy. I'm like,
So
okay.
I think that generally the black tips have a lot to do with like essentially a chemical burn, or you could be having a type of algae growing on there that is, I can't remember the name of the type of algae, but it packs on and it's like black and it's kind of dusty when you can rub it in between your fingers and kind of rub it off. One of the problems with Anubias is that because they're so slowly growing, it's very difficult to kind of figure out like, oh crap, something is short here. So the first thing that I would do if I am encountering anything with any of my Anubias tanks, like if I notice hair algae or blackbeard algae or leaf discoloration or anything like that, the first thing I want to do is get a comprehensive test of the water. Okay? Want to find out what's going on with that water. Then I'm going to go over to my tap and I'm going to test and get a comprehensive test of my tap water. Okay? If you don't know what your baseline is, who cares what you do? It doesn't matter what you do at that point. If you don't know what your baseline is, it doesn't matter what you're doing with your aquarium. If you don't know your source water, you can't make any adjustments. So test the tank, write down all the values that you get. Test your tap water, write down all the values that you get. Then write down what it is that you're doing to the tank. Maybe you're adding CO2, maybe you're adding fertilizer once a month, maybe you're adding fertilizer once every 5 minutes. From that, you can start to figure out what the uptake is that's going on with your aquarium, right? So if you're testing your aquarium water and you know my tap water has no ammonia in it, just for instance, I'm just using a random, easy to identify compound that could be in the water, right?
Right.
You know that your source water has no ammonia in it, but your tank is reading, whoa, crazy amounts of ammonia. You're like, okay, we have identified something is happening, right? From the tap to what's happening in the tank, something is producing ammonia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you can start to figure out how to mitigate that. First and foremost, one of the biggest things that you can do is a water change, is doing your basic maintenance on the tank, doing a water change, then testing your values again to kind of figure out like, okay, I did 35% water change and now the values look like this. Okay, cool. Then we're going to move on to the next week or a couple days later or something like that. You're going to test the water again to find out what the values are and what has happened within that aquarium in that time frame. Okay, if suddenly ammonia is like skyrocketed back up again, like, wait a minute, okay,
Right.
so I had this number before, I did a water change, it went down, and then here we are a couple days later, it's way back up again. Okay, wait, like something is happening in between A and B that we're ending up with this water test reading again, right? Okay, so am I feeding too much? Am I feeding too little? Am I adding too much fertilizer, not enough fertilizer, too much light, too much CO2, this and that? It sounds like a lot of variables, but it's pretty easy to kind of check them off when you go like, well, I didn't add any food in there, so obviously I'm not overfeeding, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or, oh, all I added was a little tiny pinch of food for these little fish that are in there or whatever. I'm not overfeeding. Okay. Maybe you're underfeeding. Maybe you're this, maybe you're that. Maybe your filter is having a problem and you've lost your bioload that's in there. So your beneficial bacteria that should be breaking down compounds is for some reason gone. And then you can go like, oh, wait a minute, why is that? And you start to figure out and knock things off of the list of like what's going on in your aquarium. If you aren't testing, you're not really going to be able to do that other than just, visual and guessing, right? You can be like, well, the tank smelled funny and now it doesn't smell as funny. Okay, that's probably better, right? Okay. And things can be done that way. The only problem is people that don't have like a ton of experience that try to go that route right out the gate, you're just going to end up killing a bunch of things, getting pissed off, and probably wanting to quit. Because if you meet somebody who's been doing whatever animal husbandry, whatever ecosystem type thing that they're dealing with, if they've been doing it for 25, 30 years and they're like, oh yeah, just do this, just do that, blah, 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 blah. But the reasoning behind that has already been figured out. So that's why I'm like, you got to test and you got to kind of sort things out and figure out what exactly is going on. Now, if I were to say, oh, you need to dose more fertilizer, right?
Yeah.
If I give somebody a one-stop answer that's just like, turn your lights down, or turn your lights up, or how cold is the tank? Turn your heater on, turn your heater off, whatever. Most people aren't necessarily engaging specifically with the thing that they're working on if I give a one-word answer, and I don't think that they're going to end up with the valuation that I think that people should get to. And I'll give you a perfect example of engaging with this in a professional setting. So I recently was at one of my workplaces, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody there was asking me about something was reacting with one of the aquariums. They were trying to figure out what was going on. So what we did is we took the system that we had there in place, and we know about it. We've worked with it a bunch of times, and we go, okay, what's newly been added to this? Okay, we know what might be different. We know what might have changed. Now we're going to go to the internet and we're going to start to research if there is a reactant that may or may not be in play here that has changed from before, and start to figure out what the processes are, and then eventually work our way back to what the culprit might be, and then investigate if that actually is the culprit or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what's interesting is people are like, is this how you do all of the stuff? And it's like, yeah, that's why I'm showing you. I want to show you guys like how to kind of like look this up, so that you can start to look things up and figure out what's happening. And for lack of a better way to put it, like without like just asking me what the answer is, right?
Yeah.
And when I worked in kitchens for years and years and years, I ran kitchens. People, hey chef, how many cups in a quart? And if you just tell them, they will be back in 5 minutes to ask you how many cups are in a quart again.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm exaggerating, but if you end up being the guy or gal or whoever that's just like, dose more fertilizer, it's not going to help somebody like learn and engage with the thing that they're trying to take care of, right? They're not necessarily going to have the tools that they need. But Wayne says it doesn't rub away. Ammonia 0, nitrites 0, nitrates 10 parts per million. Tap water is ammonia 0, nitrates 5 parts per million. So what's kind of interesting there is that like your nitrites and nitrates, so your ammonia is 0, your nitrites are 0, and nitrates are 10. So you basically have not a lot of ecology happening in that water. Does that make sense? Is that a good way to put it? Like the environment there is almost sterile, right? Like if you only have 10 parts per million in nitrate, in my tanks that would be low, and I would immediately add to bring it up so that the plants have something basic to eat on.
Right. He says he's adding liquid fertilizers.
Is it low tech? It's a low tech tank with liquid ferts, iron, potassium, and carbon.
Mm-hmm. Liquid carbon, which would be that
Right.
whatever it is, glutaraldehyde.
Glutaraldehyde.
Yeah.
Glutaraldehyde.
Glutaraldehyde.
I mean, I think that
Unless he's adding like mineral, like what was it? The pop, not pop.
soda water.
Yes, thank you. Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah, you can make your plants artificially pearl, so you can take pictures of them.
Right.
It's hey,
It's
there. You know what?
It is
like
CO2.
people asked me about that for years. They were like, "Can I do that?" And I was always like, "Nah, that's kind of stupid. Like, just don't do that." And the main reason I always said it's kind of stupid, don't do that, is it's a waste of money. Like, it's
Yes.
very expensive. You know, but some people are like, "But I have a soda stream. Can I do that?" I'm like, just don't. But the funny thing is, like, if you go to a convention or something like that where plants are being displayed, like half that water is carbonated.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty wild because the plants just sit there and pearl like crazy all day while people walk around eating hot dogs. And
if you don't have fish in it, you can really do almost the same thing with hydrogen peroxide too. So
well, peroxide would essentially kill the plants. H2O2, like at too high of a concentration, will just melt the plants. But,
right, just pour a little in.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And I think
don't listen to me. I'm crazy.
Well, I
you
think
guys.
the reality of that is that like most of the companies that did that probably were like, hey, here's the cheaper way of doing it, and then ran into wild disasters while being out on the road or something and having nothing to replace it with, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So Wayne is adding 20 milliliters of liquid fertilizer, 10 milliliters of iron, 7.5 potassium 3 times a week, carbon 5 milliliter every day. Okay, so he's adding 5 mil of whatever liquid carbon, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think like if you're adding that much liquid carbon though, chances are you could be running into like you're compounding too much liquid carbon in there, depending on your water change schedule. I know that
and
a lot
the
of
size
people.
of the tank.
Yeah, and the size of the tank. I think I would take that into consideration. If it's a 5-gallon tank, you could be overdosing. But I think the scope of the situation that you might have could be water change cycle. You could be overdosing a little too much with liquid carbon, which liquid carbon is actually just glutaraldehyde, which is an algicide that happens to react with water in a way that is beneficial as a carbon source for plants. And it generally, it's one of those things that like Viagra wasn't made for your boners. Viagra was made for your heart.
Mm-hmm.
And then they gave it to people for that. And then they realized like,
It also does.
these peeps are getting wild turgidity on their hands. There's a side effect here. Yeah, same kind of deal with that. Matt Romero says audio. I don't know. Did we lose audio? Uh-oh. Let me know. Let me know if we lost audio. I don't know why.
Can we not hear me? That's the most important part, right?
Can we hear you now? Let's see. I'm going to check. Did we lose audio? I don't know. I may
Luckily,
never know.
we have the ability to check.
Nope. We haven't lost audio, but we are on a delay, so watch out.
Oh.
Sounds like Matt's having a problem with his headphones or whatever he's using
Yeah.
on your end, bud.
Maybe it's your volume button.
do you
I'll
have
tape it in?
Do you have a volume button? Yeah. Every 14 days, 37% water change. Yeah, I think the reality is like you might be compounding a little too much or not. What I would do if I was in your situation with how much you're dosing, I would be doing a water change every week. Because it sounds like, 20 milliliter of liquid fertilizer. Now, I don't know what fertilizer you're adding, but you're adding iron, which you probably don't realistically need to add liquid iron. There's really not a whole lot of reason to be adding liquid iron to most every aquarium out there.
Mm-hmm.
And Tom Barr did a really good write-up recently on the use of
Never mind. Don't look at me dusting.
I don't, it was just like I heard like this wacky noise of like And I was like, is there a what is that? I was like, what could that be? Hold on. What the hell? What is this?
I don't know.
I'm trying to. NO4 is pyranoxiate? What? That's not right.
Peroxynitrate?
Yeah.
Maybe that's the whole word, and we just call it nitrates.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Tom did a really good write up on this the other day. Yeah, see, NO3 is pure nitrate, and then NO4, I guess it's what is it, poly? I don't know. I'm trying to remember right now, and I seriously am having a brain fart.
Don't you remember the chemistry class that you had
Yeah,
back in 8th
Well,
grade?
I'm trying to remember right now, in the middle of trying to figure out somebody's issue.
No, I know.
Yeah, because peroxy, is that right? Peroxynitrate has added oxygen. Yeah, because it's nitrate with 4. Oh, God. Oh, chemistry is hurting my brain right now. Yeah, because you're going to want to be adding NO4 instead of NO3, right? Because you're not going to want to add pure nitrate because the added oxygen allows for the uptake. I'm trying to remember now. Yes, carbon, O2, O1, right? I think so, yeah. I think if you're dosing NO4 versus NO3, which NO3 is just nitrate, right? You're going to have that extra oxygen molecule that allows for uptake that is not so much of a concern to have iron in your tank. Which I think the last time I was dosing NO4 was 11 years ago. 11 years ago, so I don't even do it myself anymore. I literally just do some easy green every once in a blue moon. I don't even follow a schedule anymore. And just do my water changes. I just do my water changes, and then I just allow things to kind of run that route and have CO2 in the tank. Generally adding a lot of food, having things in the tank, it's going to be fine. It's really not going to be that big of a deal. Let's see. Aquaman says, yeah, my channel is pretty much that. I want to start doing plant giveaways to get to a point where I can give away a lot. I don't feel like that comment is in the middle of our conversation. Was it what we were talking about? I feel like that's what we were talking about like half an hour ago. I feel like Aquaman might be a little behind. They might have started the show.
Maybe. That's all right. You know, whatevs. And he's not even going to hear us talking about that until he gets
way later. Yeah.
That's all right.
TNC Complete, it's a UK product.
All right,
okay.
so it's an all-in-one.
Yeah. There was a point where I was like dosing my tanks.
Like EI dosing or whatever?
Yeah. I was definitely doing EI dosing a long, long time ago.
Yep.
And generally whenever you ran into a problem was when you didn't do your water changes realistically. I know that there's a lot of, for lack of a better term, idiots out there that say that water changes aren't really that important, and the idea is to build your aquarium so that you don't ever have to do water changes. And like I said a minute ago, that's idiocy. It really is. Like, there just isn't an ecosystem. There isn't an ecosystem on the planet Earth that doesn't have added uptake of water at some point in time.
Right.
Like, that's how the system works. I mean, I don't know. Have you ever looked out the window? Is it raining? Is it snowing? Is it whatever?
No.
Like, has that ever happened? Right? Well, I mean, it's not currently raining at this moment. It rained this morning.
Did it?
Yep.
Man, I missed it.
But, like, the thing is, like, water changes are the easiest things for humans to do as far as, like, a maintenance on your aquarium. generally speaking, everybody that watches this show or listens to this show or whatever or anything like that can and is somehow capable of doing a water change, because we have opposable thumbs. We can plan out when we're going to do our water changes. We're going to be ready to do them. Most of us have municipal water or well water or access to some kind of water. If you don't, stop watching YouTube right now and go figure out how to get some water, because you're not going to be long for this earth if you don't. But if you're like a fish tank enthusiast and whatnot, do your water changes. That's going to be the biggest thing, A. And then from there, start to figure out, like, through your tests, what could be too low, what could be too high, and then adapt from there. Anubias are a pain, like I mentioned, because of the fact that they grow so slowly. So you're not really going to see positives or negatives without really long timelines, which is generally why I tell people to not, if you're new and you're just getting into the hobby, Anubias is probably a bad plant for you to get. And it's often the advice that I hear if I turn on the fish tube or whatever, is that people go like, get an Anubias. It's a great beginner plant because it's hard to kill. Like, okay. But if you buy a decently nice Anubias plant, it's probably going to cost you $10 or $15. Then
it's just going to look like it's just sitting there.
It's just going to sit there. It's going to take a really long time for it to grow. It's going to take a really long time for you to figure out if you're even treating it appropriately or not.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a great learning plant as far as I'm concerned, because you can just throw it in a bucket of water and leave it there for a couple months generally. But if you haven't been taking care of it by it sitting in the bucket, one of those days all of a sudden you're going to show up and you're going to have a melted dead plant. Which sucks. Which really sucks. That's just a pretty terrible situation for anybody to be in. Whereas you could have spent like $5 on, let's see, what's a plant I'm thinking of?
Oh,
you
wisteria.
Wisteria, yeah. And you could grow it, you could hack it up, you could replant it, you could propagate it, you could kill it.
You could rip all the leaves up and just sprinkle it over the top of your tank and wait for it to grow a bunch of roots and just have a whole forest.
Mm-hmm. So,
and I've done that, and it looks dope.
Yeah, and right now it sounds like whatever's going on in your tank from your readings, that you have no ammonia, you have no nitrite, and your nitrates are pretty low. It just sounds to me like you have a lot of uptake happening out of your tank if you're dosing that much fertilizer and you're not getting really any readings off of it. Some people out there, probably people that sell fertilizer, would be like, yeah, up your fertilization schedule. I don't sell fertilizer, so I don't really care about the marketplace of sales. So my advice is to always get on a water change schedule and then start to figure out from testing what is either low or high or whatnot in your aquarium. So I'm trying to advise you while advising anybody else who's listening. By the end of the week, we'll probably have like 600 people have watched this. So I'm trying to give everybody advice while giving you advice. Hopefully that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Am I an idiot for doing that? I don't know.
No,
and then
that makes sense.
I literally was over here like trying to remember chem class that is not, it's not working today. I don't know. Normally I can do pretty well with chemistry, but apparently today that's not good. Whatever it is that I was doing today has rotted my brain. So
I mean, the other thing that I would say specifically for Wayne, and I apologize, I'm looking down because I'm reading, you guys. I would say the one thing to make sure is just like, if it's in the light, maybe tuck it underneath something that's overgrowing it. Get it out of the light.
Well, yeah. I mean, you generally speaking, well, I mean, obviously it also depends on the type of Anubias too, but most Anubias doesn't want to have direct light on it. It wants to be in an ambient light.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always just a general advice you're probably going to get from everybody out there.
Unless it's above the water, I find.
Well, if it's above the water, you don't have the limiting uptake of CO2 any longer.
That too.
Which is generally like it's almost always the limiting factor for plant growth is what's the CO2 at? Is going to almost always be the obstruction that we're all running into. Is like, well, I want to fert more, I want to dose more, I want to do this, I want to do that, but the CO2 is never really going to be to a point where that's going to be sufficient to where you're going in the I want to go further, right? And like a good example would be that there was a giant tank that we looked at in the Netherlands that was really well aquascaped, and it just so happened that, you know, even the guys that built the tank, aquascaped the tank, put everything in there, they were like, I don't know, man. This one is just literally doing better than all the other ones normally. You know, and they were like, we're trying to figure that out. And the reality is like sometimes you just get snake eyes and sometimes you get 11, right?
Right.
You get 7s. Sometimes you crap out and you're like, shoot, whatever it is, it went wrong. It didn't work. It didn't work out well, or maybe it only was like, it's kind of middling. And sometimes you get, substrate that has like the right amount of organic in it that's breaking down for the specific water conditions that you have. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing is like, sometimes you just get unlucky with things like not working out even though you may have set everything up perfectly. And the easiest way that I could recommend people to adjust to that is to adjust your water change, adjust your specific manual maintenance that you're doing, and adjust your testing so you have a real comprehensive idea of what is going on in your aquarium, that when you do make a change, you go, oh, I made that change. What's going on now? Oh, it's doing this other thing. Like, okay. Well, then you can think about like, well, maybe I want to make a different change the other way. So that hopefully that's good advice. I don't know. I'm a rambling idiot today. I realized that. Yeah, once we got into specific topic. But our topics of the day that we have here, not from chat.
Right.
But I want to hear from chat, of course. What is it? What do we do in the chat? Do we hit F? Is that what we do?
Hit
Do we
F
hit-
for respect.
I think we hit F for the chat. Is that what we do?
I don't think there's any kind of a convention that we've settled already.
Oh, okay.
But I know that it's hit F for respect if you're on Reddit, or it's hit F to follow on Facebook. And that's about the extent of my living on the internet knowledge.
Mad respect, bro. Mad respect. All right. I hate to break the news to you, but I have to run away for a minute.
Oh.
And you're going to have to talk to people in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Is there a good thing that you wanted to talk about there?
Do y'all want to talk about plecos? I can talk about plecos or other fish or maybe shrimp. I can talk about any of those things. You got questions? I got answers.
Chirish says, I recently learned from some local koi breeders that there's a direct relationship with the amount of protein in your fish food and the amount of nitrates in your fish will produce from it. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, God, I broke my phone. I unplugged stuff.
Oh. Okay. All right. Sweet.
Just knocked my phone down. I mean, I gotta go pee real quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah, go.
Pee pants.
Don't be letting your eyeballs go swimming. That's for fish. All right. Well, if we're talking about higher protein content, okay. So people who know me know that I generally tend to have a lot of plecos and the occasional betta, snails. People know me for my snails, and also shrimp. and endlers. Those are my things. I would say, as far as getting more nitrates in the water, you know, I've noticed that my betta tanks tend to grow a lot of duckweed, which I feed to my goldfish. And so I usually take that as an indication of having a lot of nitrates and waste in the water. So that probably is true. They do eat a lot of worms and stuff. However, because I've been in the hobby for a very long time now, not quite 20 years, more like 17, 18, I am one of those people who doesn't test all the time. So I don't have the test results to back any of that up, and I can't speak on that. So let's go back to the chat. End goal of Big Dig. Oh, that's for Joel. How many plex would a pleco plec if a pleco could plec plecos? Okay, plecos will definitely plec plecos. And they will plec about 120 plecos per batch if we're talking about a standard Ancistrus. If we're talking about like a small one, like Ancistrus Claro, you'll be talking about like 18 at a time. And if we're talking about like L180, you might get 25, 30. I don't know. Next question. Let's see.
Whoa! Oh, sorry.
Not
Yelling.
Yeah. You and your
Oh,
yelling.
God, it was super loud. Uh-oh, what were you guys talking about? L180s?
I mentioned them, but the only pleco question was how many plex would a pleco plec if a pleco could plec plecos.
What's your I remember you have some prized ones. Which ones are those? I can never remember the number. You have some maybe that you could be breeding, maybe?
I have several that I'm breeding.
You have some that you could be breeding, maybe? Is it secret? It might be secret.
It might be secret
Secrets.
because there's one that doesn't have an L number there, and I want to not put that out into the world because I don't know if the babies are going to survive, because locally people have not had babies survive longer than a month, so we're just gonna not mention those yet, but so far doing well. At the moment I've got L180s growing, and they're breeding regularly. They are a species of Ancistrus that is not yet individually described, so they don't have their own species name. They're just like Ancistrus species L180, and they're kind of known as the peppermint pleco.
That's right. I was trying to look the number up here. L180.
Oh, there it
is.
They're like a black with white spots kind of pleco. They
Right.
start with
I like plecos that have little spots.
yeah, they're
I don't
super
have
cute.
any. I don't have any that have little spots. I suck.
Oh, I've got
Oh man,
lots.
I'm gonna have to get some.
and yeah, so they're starting to breed. That's the thing. The trick with them is that they need to be older, and I don't think they like being with other Ancistresses. I don't know why. So I got mine from somebody else who was in my club who was like, I've not been able to get them to breed, and I was like, cool, I'll try. And now they're breeding. So seems
there's
to
the
work well.
L85, right? The gold nugget.
Oh,
The L085, right?
gold nuggets are, let's see, L018,
And
L81, 85. They've got 3 or 4 different L numbers that are all the gold nuggets,
Right.
but they're all like the same Baryancistris xanthelis. And I think the L numbers just pertain to the collection point, and
Oh, okay.
they look a little different. Like they have different spot sizes. And I have one L018,
Mm-hmm.
who
What
I
was
just
the
I just got from one of the stores that was shutting down.
Phase 3 Pleco?
Oh, the luteus or whatever it is.
Yeah, what I'm trying to remember. Yeah, the luteus, the hypostomus or hypostomus, is that right? Hypostomus, right?
I always say hypostomus, and it could be hypostomus. I'm not sure.
Yeah, the luteus. Yeah, we saw these like a little while ago.
Those are like the most expensive plecos.
These are the phase 3s.
Specifically the phase 3, I think.
Because I saw some when I was in Germany.
My friend in the
And
UK.
it was big.
My friend in the
Big,
UK
dude. It was
who
big. It was so big and it was so gold.
like
And I
this
was like,
big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. And then I think I was there with Corey on that one. And Corey was like, how much is that one? And I think the guy said it was like, I don't know, 3,000 euro or something. It was like,
Yep.
I'm not standing next to this. I'm going to stand way over there. I'm sitting way over there by the neons or something, where I'm like, no, I didn't even touch the tank. I didn't even look in there. I just looked from over here, you know.
Right.
But those were cool. And then I saw some in the Netherlands.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was like, I think it was a phase 3, but not a luteus, because had like a bunch of black and then gold and then.
Oh well, that's probably just like a phase 2 or something, but the same fish.
You think?
Because the thing is like the phase 3 is like when it's old.
Right. It's full grown.
Yeah.
All right.
I guess there's other questions here. Dan wants to know if gold nugget plecos are difficult to keep, or Don. I keep hearing that they're difficult to keep. Mine likes Repashy Soylent Green. I guess the hard part is getting them to start eating. So if you can get past that point, then they're not that hard to keep.
Mm-hmm.
Mine hasn't been growing much. It's still like maybe this big, which is about 2.5 inches, or I don't know.
Yeah, everything I've heard with the gold nugget plecos, the difficulty is to get them to eat. It's to get them to eat / feed them. That's the hardship. And I don't know. I knew people in the past that had them that were idiots, and they were able to pull it off. I'm not saying Alyssa is an idiot, in case anybody's trying to connect the dots on that one. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I knew somebody 10 years ago that was keeping them that was an idiot and was able to pull it off. So I think everybody in chat should be fine. You should be fine if you wanted to get in there.
Right.
It's always just a water quality consideration, and the expensive food. That's what you're going to want to take into account ahead of time, and the prep time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you have the prep time and it's not cost prohibitive for you to
buy
feed.
Repashy. Yeah. Like for me it's like you're already boiling water to make your tea. You might as well at the same time make your Repashy. Cuz you got that boiled water. Just to go along, let's see. Wayne Talbot says he's got a very aggressive bristle nose. Any advice on how to calm it down?
More caves.
Yeah, you need a lot of caves, a lot of hiding spots, like a lot of wood. Like my tanks that have a lot of bristle noses in them look like I'm literally storing wood in water in the tanks.
Yeah.
Like when I go to back when we had auctions and stuff still, because we weren't in a pandemic. I would go to the auctions and people would be like, oh, and here's a wood, or here's a log, and then you'd be like, it's log. Anyway, it's better than bad is good every time.
Does that song go?
Yes.
It's
something like
log, it's log, it's big, it's heavy, it's wood.
that. Yes.
It's log, it's better than bad, it's good.
Yep. And anyway, so I would always bid on it.
It rolls downstairs. Oh, sorry.
I didn't know the whole. Well, I didn't have cable growing up, so
Oh, you don't have cable?
no.
Oh.
I know, it's sad. Anyway,
Anybody that's wondering, that's Ren and Stimpy.
yes.
You have to go watch some Ren and Stimpy. Yeah,
Uh,
Alyssa just buys all the wood
I do.
and throws it in there like a maniac.
Yep. I
All
don't
haphazardly.
aquascape. I just kind of throw it in
Right.
at random, and then when I need to catch the plecos out, I just sort of like I pick up the pieces, and then I have like a net, and I just kind of catch them because they're hanging on. They're like, no, my
Like, hey, what are you
wood."
doing? This is my spot.
And
Yeah.
then I go bloop, and they go, oh no, and they go bloop, and they're like, oh no, I'm caught.
Yeah.
It's like that. It's just like that, with the words and everything.
That makes sense.
I'm not crazy. You're crazy.
I'm not great. What?
Yeah. But anyway,
All I wanted
as
was a
far as
Pepsi.
as far as
Does anybody know that song? You know that song?
no,
Oh.
as far as if they're, I have in the past had plecos that were super aggressive to each other, mostly because there was one that was the dominant male, and then there was another one that was like the up and coming dominant male, and the dominant male was like, this is sticking out the gill things, the gill spikes was like, this is my spot, and the new one was like, but I want to try, and he was like, no, and then they would be like, and they would have their little fights. That's how they fight. It's kind of funny. And so I would either remove the young one that I didn't want to be breeding, because I'm like, look, no, or let them deal with it, because usually they're not going to kill each other. At worst, there'll be like a scrape, and then they just have to like heal up. You just got to change more water. You can rearrange stuff. Yeah. And in my tanks, because I'm ridiculous and they're way overstocked with way too many plecos, like I change water every 3 days in some tanks.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the big thing that I don't think a lot of people know that they're going to run into, especially with like breeding projects and stuff, is the insane amount of water changes you're going to have to do, pulling mops, moving caves, doing all this kind of stuff. But I would say, like, with my I have like 2 bristlenose colonies now, inadvertently, because I just moved some to another tank, and it's like, oh, you guys are okay. Yeah, that's what's happening.
Yep.
It's the summer of love 2021 bristlenose style. Yeah. Watch out on the I-5. We got bumper to bumper, chrome to chrome out there. There's a construction site where somebody's pants fell off and all the cars stopped. Yeah. Well, yeah, with my bristlenose, it's like they get aggressive. They just don't have space. So always add more Heidi's. Where were those? The plant watering spikes? What were those called?
Terracotta plant watering spikes.
That's right. The terracotta. Terracotta plant spikes.
Ants France. I have not kept any kind of crayfish. They are illegal to keep in the Washington state.
Yeah, crayfish are illegal here. I may or may not. I don't have any now, but I may or may not have known of some people that did that in the past.
I have
And it is
temporarily caught and
I wouldn't say
like played with one for a short period of time when I was a kid.
crimes. You don't
in
want to be committing
Minnesota.
crimes. Like what I was gonna say is, like, I don't know what the levity of the crime, the levity of the crime is, but it's not good. So if you're in Washington State, do not have imported crayfish. We have crayfish here. That's why. That's the problem. They will take over.
Yep.
And screw up our environment here. That's why. But there are the plant watering spikes. Be aware that I am an Amazon affiliate, and if you buy stuff through the Amazon affiliate, things. It gives me a commission. It doesn't change the price. The Federal Trade Commission requires me to tell you that if I share a link in the chat that you will know that we're an Amazon affiliate, and I have shared a link in the chat, we're an Amazon affiliate. I'm making it very, very precisely clear that is what the hell is going on. So Federal Trade Commission, suck it.
Get
okay,
off my
there
back.
we go. There we go. Cool. But there are the plant watering spikes. I found those to be by far and away the easiest thing to do for plecos. You can just legit, boom, you got 6 caves or 12 caves or however many caves you order from whatever company. I have not found one to be specifically fancier than the other, except for the one that's in my Amazon store, and it's just because they happen to be white instead of orange, because the orange just bothers me aesthetically. There's probably no advantage one way or another, but it's just a space for your plecos to go in and feel safe and have their own little territory, as opposed to feeling like they're in search of a territory. That's generally when the squabbles start going totally bonkers. The fish start stabbing each other with their
gill spikes.
with their spikes, going bonkers and
Just like
being mad, and you're like, "Hey, fish, don't be mad." And they're like, "We don't speak English. We do what we want." And you're like, "Ah, drag."
I had to teach this guy to not be on this part of the wall.
Right. You gotta give him some learnings.
And just to reiterate the point with the plant watering spikes, now, not to disparage against people who make pleco caves specifically, I'm just talking about specific to the size for that what bristlenoses want. The plant watering spikes are perfect for the majority of bristlenoses, and I have gone and purchased different ones from like stores, like the expensive $20 bristlenose caves or pleco caves, versus paying $12 for a pack of 8 of these terracotta plant watering spikes. And they don't seem to like the store-bought specific pleco caves as much. I even bought ones that were like flattened out and like a little bit wider at the entrance for my longfin plecos, and they're like, no, I'd much rather cram my whole body with all my frilly fins up into this tiny little tube. And I'm like, all right, whatever you want to do, buddy. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Orange caves, orange bristlenoses. Yes. If you have an orange cave and orange bristlenoses, and then they lay eggs that are kind of orangish, and it can get kind of hard to see. Sharpies, models, and aquatics. If something's going on in there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, that I've like I said, the ones that I have in the Amazon store, they just happen to be the white ones.
The orange ones work just fine.
The orange ones work fine. I mean, you could even go to the hardware store and just get some little pots, little terracotta pots from the hardware store too. The small ones.
Yeah. They do seem to prefer the watering spikes.
Yeah, because there's a closed end on it and it's pretty tight.
Yep.
For a fish. You can go in there and be like, I'm in here.
Yep.
Don Gallagher says suicidal tendencies institutionalized is the track of the song I Just Wanted a Pepsi. That is the track. Correct. That's the one I was talking about. Was it Mike Muir from Suicidal? Is that right? Who's in? It's Mike Muir, right? Did I get that right? No, I don't think I got that right. Nope. Yeah, Mike Muir, Dean Pleasance, Dave Lombardo. Oh God, Dave Lombardo. What's up, Dave Lombardo? Where are you, dude? Yeah, they're old punk band. Although I think a lot of people thought that they were pretty metal back then, but now I think they're classified as a punk band. Crossover thrash, funk metal. Yeah, I don't know. I have old man eyes. Am shade blind. Really doesn't help. Yeah, that's a good point. Good point right there.
You gotta get good with the flashlight. Just click flashlight, look. You gotta look for the movement. Be like the T-Rex, go after movement.
Yeah, you have to wait for movement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he's in there and he's on eggs, he's gonna be doing the alternating fanning the whole time anyway, so you're gonna see movement.
Ants France is wondering, when are you releasing another plant video?
No.
I don't know. At some point. What plant video would you like? I think that's probably the question. Do I ever hear anything from the community? I get one of two things from the community. Most of the people that are like patrons and members and stuff like that are like, yeah, man, I'm cool. It's all good. I know you'll make more, because I will. And I am.
Mm-hmm.
When are they going to come out? I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. I don't have a timeline either. I'm certainly not putting myself to a timeline. I just don't want to be on a timeline anymore. I don't know. I'm making stuff, and that's what's happening. But then, like, the other side of the community is people that are just pissy and angry and full of rage. Sort of like, I don't know, some weirdo that got banned from, not allowed to comment on my channel anymore, from the other day, who was, and I'm paraphrasing here. It's not an exact quote, because I don't want to exactly quote somebody who's this angry and rage-filled. Somebody was very upset. They called me a liberal, which is interesting, because I don't think I would classify myself as like a classic liberal or anything like that. But they equated me talking about my solar experience as whining and complaining, and that because I'm a big liberal, I should understand that it's all a conspiracy, that, you know, Joe Biden's infrastructure, blah, 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 all this stuff, the Green New Deal, blah, like all this toxic mayhem that you hear from, like, Tucker Carlson and all that, right?
Oh.
Now, I was sharing with you guys the experience that we were having with setting up the solar, and the fact that the bid was about $54,000 in order to get enough solar to be like, if there was no power here, we could be, air quote, off grid during the day, right? During at least the daylight hours, and we wouldn't be storing any power. So we wouldn't have giant battery banks or anything like that to store power overnight. From a basic economic standpoint, us investing in that right now equates to spending a bunch of money, right? Because we're going to have to spend that money. We're going to have to take out a loan. We're going to have to finance the loan, which the financiers at the bank, of course, are going to make money off of it. The company that the salesmen that sell us the loan are going to make money off of it. The salesmen are also going to make a commission off selling us this solar, right? This the whole installation and all that stuff. And we were going to be paying more on the loan than we do right now in the expense of our electricity. Now, one of the big reasons that we don't pay high in electricity in Washington State is, guess what? Socially funded electric programs, right? Socially minded, tax-driven hydroelectric dams in the Columbia Basin, irrigation and hydroelectric expansion project, which the Columbia River, which runs however many umpteen miles through all of Washington State, a gigantic river, has a bunch of hydroelectric dams that were built with, guess what, tax money in order to supply power to this part of the world. Currently, a lot of our electricity is being sold to California, right? Our excess power is being sold to California to help deal with the heat wave that's down there, right? Which, by the way, is part of being a part of a community, right? Yeah. Californians are Americans. We want Americans to be able to thrive and be comfortable within the United States and be able to, you know, stay in their house and cook food and have warm water and all that kind of stuff that you need in order to be an average human being, right? So we don't look down on the fact that some of our electricity has to go down to California, we go, hey, that's an opportunity for us to help out where we can.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the reasons why that would even come up is because there's currently the electricity buyback, right? So if you start making solar power, what happens is you have what's called, air quote, net metering.
Yes.
So your electric meter, when you're using electricity, goes this direction. When you're producing electricity, it spins back the other direction, right?
If you're producing more than you're using.
Right. If you're producing more than you're using, it's going to spin backwards. Now, if at the end of the month, let's say, to keep the numbers very basic, that you used 500 and you made 1,000, some of that electricity would go back into the grid, which would have been sold to other customers in the area.
Yeah.
Now, previous to 2021, there was an agreement made with people that were supplying energy back into the grid, that was going to be purchased at 7 cents per kilowatt hour.
Yeah.
Now, that contract has expired for people that are new to the grid, only at a certain customer amount. So every year, a certain amount of people can
Join in.
jump in on that old grandfather clause contract until a new contract is negotiated, right? So because they've limited the amount of people that can get on the buyback program, and right now it's July, which I think most people here could recognize that's not the beginning of the year, right?
Right.
And those start at the beginning of the year. They're like, oh, hey, you get one, you get one, you get one, blah, 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 blah. Oh, we reached whatever the number is. Now we got to hold back until next year. Or a new contract is negotiated so that everybody can come in on it. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's where we're at right now. So Victoria and myself have said this is probably too much money for us to spend right now.
Right.
With
on
no
essentially a gamble.
Yeah, well, it's not a gamble. It's that we wouldn't it's not a gamble at all because we know that there's no buyback program right now.
Right.
Okay? So there's no gambling here. There's not like, hey, we bought 100 lottery tickets, did one of them win? It's that we would buying lottery tickets on something that the negotiated jackpot would be 0, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what we need to do is either wait for that contract to come up so that we would know that we would have a spot and we could make a financial analysis of like, is this worth it for us to do or not? Right now, it's not financially responsible for us to spend all that money without somebody buying the electricity, because that electricity that we're putting in would be absorbed by the grid and sold to somewhere else. So do I have a specific problem with that? Like, just as a human being, yeah, because it's like I spent the money to make this product. I would like to be compensated for it.
Right.
Or I have to shoot lightning bolts up into the sky until I use enough kilowatts that I'm like, yeah, there we go. Now we're at 0, right?
Or pay more money for one of them battery things.
What now the problem is, like, I don't want to pay for a giant battery bank because the battery technology doesn't really exist right now for household size stuff that isn't going to create a giant amount of waste.
Yeah.
You know, that's going to be ultimately the big issue, is that we're going to end up with a battery that we know is going to end up being a pollutant.
Yeah.
Like,
all those.
it's one of those things, like if I buy a camera lens, for instance, like, and I always talk about camera lenses because they're sitting around in here.
This one right here.
Don't touch that. Don't touch that. Oh, God, you touched it. No, I was going to say, don't hand it to me. It's heavier than you think, and we'll probably drop it or something. But let's say I buy a camera lens, and yes, it is full of metals and glass and all of this kind of stuff. If I was to sit and break it down, that, like, yes, that would be polluting, technically.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is, once that thing has been fabricated and built and it is a quality thing, it could probably last for like 100 years. So that, I mean, there are lenses right now that are over 100 years old that people still use. You just have to adapt them and like attach them all crazy. It's
As long
kind
as
of
you don't
interesting.
let somebody like me
But-
touch them and carry them and drop them on the
Well,
floor.
don't intentionally break
I know,
things
I'm
or
just
don't
saying.
break stuff. Yeah, like yes, barring any kind of getting broken or whatnot.
Right.
It's not going to get just chucked out into the ocean, and find out what happens later. But we do know that if we were to buy one of those battery banks, a giant battery bank, which is an additional, I don't even know how many thousands. I think when we looked it up, it was like 12,000 or something. That a bunch of the stuff from the current batteries that are being made is going to end up as something that is realistically like not going to be recycled.
Yeah.
Right. So that's our concern right there, is that like we do want to do the solar panels. We do want to contribute to the local energy, right? We do want to contribute to the local energy grid. We also agree with the stance that solar is going to be a big part of the future.
Mm-hmm.
Like as far as creating energy for humans to survive and thrive, right?
Yeah.
And my opinion politically is that we should probably look to other models that have worked out pretty well. And one of them would be Germany. Germany is producing so much solar power now. I don't even know what the timeline is. We'd have to look it up. Germany solar power 2020. There's something with it. I think they're going to be off grid and not really being reliant on anything else. Germany in the first quarter of 2021 down from 52%. Yeah, this is going to be a long article to read. But anyhow, they're moving forward in becoming in 2020 renewables produced an annual record 46% of German power consumption. So
Awesome. Rock on, Germany.
So by 2030, targets by the end of March to reflect a more ambitious 2030 EU climate target. The government, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, like there's supposed to be wind and solar expansion to get to the point where they can at least know that they're fairly reliably solar dependent and being more independent as far as like their energy production, and there'll be less failures because the solar is being produced all over the place. So like right now, if some kind of crazy weather event hits a dam, for instance, or if a dam breaks or something, right? You're like, oh my God, so many people are going to be out of power for a while. Whereas if you have all these little places producing all this little solar all over the place, and a building burns down, heaven forbid, a building burns down, right? The whole grid doesn't go down, right?
Right.
You know, you're just like, oh, one peg out of the giant fabric is missing right now. Okay, let's see what we can do to fix that. And one of the things that Germany did was they introduced a 0% loan to people that owned property.
Nice.
Right? If you owned property and you wanted to put solar on your property, you could take out a loan for the cost of that solar project at 0% interest from the government.
Nice.
Right? So the government said, this is worthwhile. We don't need to make money off of interest off of the loans. We want to encourage people to do this. How do we do that? Well, in the United States, you hopefully get a tax incentive, right? So we would get a tax write-off from our taxes, our tax liability, and then we would take that tax write-off and apply that towards the loan, right? Which is still being charged interest.
Right.
So we're from a financial standpoint, we are going to lose money to the bank that we are paying interest on versus somebody in Germany, right?
What's the write-off amount?
I think it's like, I think they were saying that it was 14,000.
That's less than that's less than the individual standard deduction.
Right, but I think it's supposed to be on top of, but I really don't think it's on top of. I think it's you do this beside, right? So anyhow, we're gonna have to figure out what the tax write-off is, because
I
I
would have
tell
to
you,
talk
there's
to a
all
tax
sorts
person.
of like shady banker nonsense where they tell you something is a tax write-off and it turns out that it's not, because the sales guy is motivated to make a commission,
Right.
and they just tell you some bullshit, and you're like, oh, okay, cool, that'll be fine. And then by the end of the year, it works out when you go to your accountant. They're like, oh yeah, you have a $14,000 write-off, which means you're like $1,000 over what your normal standard write-off deduction would be. And you're like, wait a minute, what does that work out to? And they're like, oh, $900 or something, or $400 or whatever the hell it is.
Right.
And you're like, that's not 14,000.
Right.
That's not $14,000. That's a 14,000 write-off.
Right.
Which right now the federal our federal income tax rate is what, 19 point. I mean, if you're in the lower rung like I am, it's only like 19% of your income.
Yeah. The least amount. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's been a while since
I'm not
looked
at
it.
zero, by the way. I'm not at zero.
Right.
So I'm in the low rung is about 19 and a half. I think when I calculate my federal tax liability at the end of the year, which isn't my business taxes, or my sales tax, or my gas tax, or any of the other crazy taxes we constantly pay. But, the thing is, like, my reasoning behind this is going like, okay, well, I'm intelligent enough to look around the world and go like, well, what's going on in other worlds or in other countries, other worlds? Yeah, what's going on Jupiter? Yeah, no, I'm kidding.
Let's figure out what's going on.
But I can look around the world and I can go like, hey, wait a minute, what's going on in other countries? What is happening here? And I also know people in those countries. So I do have some anecdotal evidence of, hey, what has this been like for you? And the reality is, most of the people that I've anecdotally spoken to, like, what's your experience like? Oh, the experience is we have some solar panels on the roof. And that's it. That's really what it boils down to. And then you go, financially, what does this look like? Oh, well, we get our electric payment, because I one of my friends who lives in Germany, I was talking to him, and he just acts like it's no big deal, because they get a check every 2 months.
Oh.
You don't pay, you get a payment, right?
Huh.
Mike Kansas says income tax is a joke. They need to end that. No, it's not a joke. It's not a joke, and they don't need to end it. As soon as they end income tax, the government falls apart, and we're in total anarchy, and then everyone has to shoot everybody for food.
Right.
But then the people that are making the food, it's not being shipped around anymore.
Right.
Right. I mean, we saw this with toilet paper. Does anybody remember? Does anybody remember when the toilet paper was out?
Yeah.
Can we remember that? How innocuous toilet paper is, realistically, when you live in the first world. Mm-hmm. You can't wipe your butt. You could take a shower. You could use towels and wash them. There's a whole bunch of things that you could have done. But people were straight up getting in fist fights and stuff over toilet paper.
Right.
Because they couldn't buy like 96 rolls of it because a pandemic was beginning. Right? Have we forgotten?
So funny.
Like, have we immediately forgotten like how much it is? And by the way, like, if we take away like these large institutions that protect us from a lot of the things that we regularly ignore, every single day we walk past probably 1,000 things that we don't even think about how many people are inspecting, checking on, quality control, whether or not there's carcinogens in this, right? We go every single day, and we just assume like, oh, everything's fine. And, a perfect example of that would be, I heard somebody was talking about this the other day, the opiate problem in the United States. We know that Purdue literally went around and lied to all of the doctors that these opiates they're fine. This is pain management. Everybody needs pain management. They did all this lying so that they could get money. And we know that. It's not even like a question anymore, right? It's not even a question. It's really not a question.
Right.
And we know that those companies are 100% willing to do that when 60,000 people a year are dying of in just the United States. Hold on. I'm going to look this up. What are the statistics? Opioid deaths USA. Let's look this up. Drug overdose deaths. 70,000. It's not 60,000, it's 70,000 a year. Yeah, 70,000 a year. Let's see 2019. There's no there's like probably intentionally no total on here. Okay, that's not helping that there's no total. But 70,000 a year. 2019, 70,630 drug overdose deaths occurred in the United States. That's not good, man. Opioids, mainly synthetic opioids, are currently the main driver of the drug overdose deaths. 72.9% of opioid-involved overdose deaths involve synthetic opioids. Like, we know what companies are willing to do.
Mm-hmm.
We know what they're willing to do so that they could make and extract money.
Yeah.
We know what they're willing to do. And what do we, as the average person, when we're just walking down the street and you're just, oh, wait a minute, I'm going to be wildly taken advantage of because next week I rolled my ankle and I went to the doctor, and the doctor is going like, hey, you need to do some pain medication because you're really in a lot of pain, and let's get you through this pain mitigation. And now you're addicted to a drug that is known to kill all sorts of people every year.
Right. And then when you aren't prescribed it anymore, you go seeking it in other ways.
Right. Because it's wildly addicting.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. Like, I'm sober. I know what it's like to go sit in the rooms with addicts, to watch them go back out, to watch them die in person, to get a phone call about it, and to get a Facebook notification that somebody dropped off the face of the planet, and then, oh my God, they found their dead body 3 months later.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I know what that's, I've seen it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And corporations are 100%, they feel fine doing that. They don't care.
Yeah.
They do not care.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but we're just supposed to be cool with that, like, at this point, and then just go, well, the government's bad because I heard that Hillary Clinton was bad or something. Okay? Like, I understand. A lot of people don't like Hillary Clinton. I don't like Hillary Clinton. Put me in the boat. I don't like her. Okay?
Right.
Does that mean that the EPA is bad? Right? Like,
everything is
like,
bad.
well, the EPA is bad because they told us that we needed to make sure that we didn't have drainage migration over here and erosion control on the job site I worked on, and then I had to put up a fence. EPA is so bad.
Why can't I just dump my used motor oil down
Like,
the drain?
At what point do we just suddenly, like, ignore expertise? Like, I woefully admit that I'm an idiot, okay? Like, I'm dumb, okay? I'm a stupid guy. People come to me, they want some help with their stuff. I try to do my best to fill in the blanks, you know? As best I can.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a doctorate. I don't have a master's degree. I don't have a BA. I don't have an associate's degree. I have a shitload of college credits that might as well throw them right in the trash. Okay? But if there was an ichthyologist here with a doctorate specifically involved in something that I was asking them about, what would my reaction be? Like, I'm just going to be a dick to you right now and spit in your face and tell you to F off? Who do you think works at the EPA? Who do you think works at the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I've always known it as NOAA because
NOAA.
my aunt worked there.
Yeah.
And I've always known it as NOAA and Atmospheric
Oceanic.
and Oceanic blah, 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 Administration
H.
or something. Yeah. No, there's no H on the end. It's NOAA, National
Oh.
Oceanographic and Aeronautical Administration. I don't know, whatever, NOAA. But like here we go. Like I don't even know the acronym of the thing that I'm trying to explain to people. I'm that stupid, okay? But my point is the experts that work there are working to try and do that. They're trying to help the average dum-dum like me so that I don't end up eating some food that gives me brain cancer and I end up dying at 55, which no one would give a damn if I died at 55. Let's be honest here. No one would care. Yes, people close to me would go, oh, sucks, and they'd be upset for a while. And eventually they would work past it and get along with whatever they're doing, right?
Yeah.
But the reality is, do you think there's going to be a presidential speech about some guy in Washington just died at whatever weird middle age? No. Do you think that the guy at Purdue would care? The people that run the opioid factory, do you think they care? No. They don't care.
No.
But
They would say, thank you for your contribution to our wealth.
yeah. But you know who doesn't care? Or you know who does care on accident? And it's just because of how a system manages to function. Is that people that don't have an invested interest in making a bad choice, which is democracy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you literally go, we have the choice between Dinglebat and Dingledum, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Dingleberry's over there. That's not a choice. Sorry. We got Dinglebat and we got Dingledum. Dingleberry's a weirdo, and it's not going to happen. He's wearing a boot on his head.
Sure, you can vote third party. Throw your vote away.
I'm not talking about throwing your vote away.
I
Vote
know.
third party if that's what you agree with.
I'm just saying.
If you agree with Vermin Supreme and you want to wear boots on your head, and yeah, then everyone gets a unicorn, whatever it is.
Are
What's
they
Vermin?
cool boots?
What's Vermin? Hold on, Vermin Supreme platform. It is a 4-plank platform, and I think it's dental care for everybody.
Nice.
Where's this freaking platform? Political positions. Where did this go? Where is? Just highlight his platform. We don't need to know all this other crap. Right to a pony. Yeah. Like everyone gets a pony. Everyone gets dental care, and the response to Supreme asserted his right to pony. Yeah. I don't know. All right, screw it. I don't want to talk about Vermin Supreme anymore. His platform's around here somewhere, but it's like dental care and everyone gets a pony. I don't know. But my point is that when a lot of people have a vote for what is going to happen,
Mm-hmm.
they don't have a vested interest in making the bad decision, right? Because it's fairly easy to go like, should everybody have a pony? Yes or no? And you could look at it and go, how do we pull that off? And you go like, well, here's our strategy of how we're going to try to pull this off, right?
Right. And what
And
do
you
you
could
mean
go-
by have a pony?
Well,
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
but when it comes down to it, you could go like yay or nay because you don't have like a wild invested interest in making choices like, hey, should we dial down how much forest we're logging to be thrown away? What are you laughing at?
Sorry. Yay or nay.
Oh, yeah. Pony. It's pony.
And then hey
Yeah.
is for horses.
That's right.
And
Hey,
ponies too. Sorry.
hey or nay?
Continue. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I grew up with puns.
Yeah, it's working. It's working good. Yeah. So ultimately, like, my point is that when voters can make a decision because they don't have a necessarily, like, invested interest in making a bad decision,
Mm-hmm.
that's where democracy comes in and shines, right? When you know, hey, we should fund that thing because it's the right thing to do, people will just vote for it.
Mm-hmm.
People will appeal to your emotional stance on things to create a villain in order for you to vote in a different direction, because then you feel like it's the right thing, because it's the us versus them mentality, that's the enemy versus the righteous, whatever. And yet what has happened, in my estimation, is that to bring it back to this solar situation that we're talking about, if you bring this up, more often than not, the responses I get are so outlandish and wild about, well, they're just lying. Those Germans, they're lying. Okay. Do you have any evidence to back that up? Ever heard of World War II? Right? And you're like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, man. Like, what? Then you hear like, oh, well, the solar panels, they don't actually work good. They're only like 15% efficient. Like, yeah, that's why you need more than one.
Right.
And by the way, if these technologies are to continue to develop, if we don't have something effective behind the development, we end up with iPhones that cost $2,000 because the camera's a little bit better than the last one.
Yeah.
A little while ago. We got people jumping off of buildings in Foxconn in China.
Yeah.
We have Foxconn coming over to the United States and tricking our previous president that they were going to build a giant Foxconn factory in Wisconsin, I believe.
Well, that's right.
Yeah. And now they have a ton of roads that go nowhere. We lost a ton of tax money because the private sector will figure it out. The private sector will figure out how to extract money like the opioids, right?
Mm-hmm.
The private sector will figure out how to extract money from one dum-dum that decides, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're going to give all these guys a bunch of tax money so that they'll build a factory here, and then when they don't, then they just leave.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
Because somebody is personally invested in making the bad decision. And Alec the Nice says it's the American way. No, it's not. It's not the American way. The United States was built on unionized workforce.
Like
It
the
was
IBEW.
built on huge governmental programs in order for people to go do work at an honest wage. There were problems. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. There were systemic problems. There were racism problems. There were issues with things in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point in time, as we talked about in the 60s earlier, they started to vilify the group of people that were advocates for expanding those programs into heading into the 21st century instead of them just being at the beginning of the 20th century and allowing them to die. A lot of those people got put into prison. A lot of those people got prosecuted on purpose, drug around through court to court to court to court, regularly being arrested and this and that and the other thing because, oh, they have some marijuana in their pocket or something like that. Happened over and over and over again. And to anybody out there, I would implore that you go and select 10 novels from the civil rights era and go sit down and read them and take notes. Because if you think the civil rights era was only Martin Luther King and that's the only thing that happened, Martin Luther King was awesome. He was instrumental. He was a great man. He did a lot of good work.
Yeah.
Even what he wanted to have happen has been so misconstrued over the last 50 years.
Right.
Like, for instance, you know how often people have said that Martin Luther King was like, he was non-violent. He was for nonviolent protest, which, yeah, he was technically for nonviolent protest, but he also knew that there was going to be all these violent interactions that they were going to have to try and take the higher ground so that they could move forward, and that was the expectation. He's regularly misquoted constantly. You know, he was an advocate for huge social safety nets. He was an advocate for things like reparations. He was an advocate for basic income, so everybody would have basic income. All of these, you know, it's like, oh, are you telling me that Martin Luther King was a socialist? Yeah, because he was. You can't, like, rewrite history and then be like, well, he was just a guy who wanted to march around and then people could be able to eat at the restaurant. Are you kidding me? That's, like, the least of the issues that he was trying to deal with, right?
Right.
But
We're still trying to deal with all those
We're still
issues.
trying to deal with that now. We're dealing with the repercussions of the past and the fact that this nation was built with giant tax dollars.
Yeah.
And then certain groups of people weren't allowed to live and move into them.
Mm-hmm.
Like the suburbs. The hell you think the suburbs came from? You think independent companies just, I don't know, built 20,000 houses in 2 years all of a sudden just out of the blue when they didn't even have any workers to begin with? Where do you think all these people came from?
Right.
How many people were imported to the state that I live in Washington State? People were imported here from within the United States. They were brought here to build housing so that white people could end up living in them after the fact. And nobody seems to care that Boeing was behind that, right? No one cares that Boeing was behind that. Boeing's a good company, and they make airplanes that crash, by the way, and they know that they were going to crash. Huh? Even today, they make terrible decisions, right? And then somebody would go like, you can't criticize Boeing. They make jobs. They have a CEO, right? But yet that CEO will make the decision to put a new flight control system into an airplane that he knew was going to crash, and still, what did he make? $80 million to get fired for it?
That's so much money.
Yeah.
That's so much money.
You know, I want to put solar on my house. I want to put solar on my house so that I could have a more ecologically friendly system to run things like fish tanks and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to build the small solar system myself that will run the greenhouse.
Mm-hmm.
That is financially not a very big deal. It's going to be about $1,500. I'm going to build it myself. I'm going to make a YouTube video about it. So maybe somebody else could build something small like that. I do not recommend somebody to go out there and try and do the giant solar program that we're trying to do at the house here. It's 42 solar panels. It's a new electrical panel. It's rewiring from the pole to the meter, from the meter to the panel inside the house. Incorporating all of those systems is extremely dangerous, and I personally wouldn't make a video out of that because some idiot is going to try and do it somewhere and end up hurting themselves.
Yeah.
Right? I don't want to be liable for stuff like that. I feel like it's important for me to not make videos like that where it's just, you just put the wires in there, man. You know, like, I feel like I'm a little bit responsible, right? But not really. I don't know. I'm just some guy.
It's like technically people are responsible for their own actions.
Unless you're incorporated and then you're completely absolved from your own actions.
Well,
because you have a license and a bond, and then all of your personal assets cannot be seized, even though you may not have done something extraordinarily negligent, causing harm on other people.
That's true.
You have a limited liability corporation. We're an LLC. What's up? Yeah.
Yes. But technically, if somebody tries to copy the thing that you did, and they don't have all the knowledge and stuff that you like, it's like there's the thing that you did, and then there's all the knowledge that allows you to be able to do the thing that you did safely. And there's only so much in a video. You can't cram all of this into a video. You can only put this in there. You know? It's like, for instance, if I've been watching a lot of those like build your own pizza oven kind of brick pizza oven outside kind of videos because I find it fascinating. But I don't know, like, ratio of mixture for different kind of mortars or that kind of thing. What kind of brick is the right kind of brick to use?
Bric-a-brac.
Sure. Like they kind of gloss over easy stuff that like I see like a hint of it, like, oh, they're using little stones. But what kind of stones in between these bricks, like what are they doing? I don't know. How much water do you use? Are you using water to mix this? I don't know. I've never mixed cement before. This is how people like mix cement with their hand and don't realize why their hand hurts so much later, and like you can watch someone do it and it looks like it's super easy because they're just doing it and they're just concentrating and they do it.
Right.
But it's not that easy. You have to build up all that experience. I used to clean houses for a living, and people used to sit there and just freaking watch me. And for the longest time, it used to freak me out. People would be watching me clean, and then somebody told me that it was like watching an Olympic swimmer or something swim, because they'd be like, I don't know how you do it. It's like super efficient, and you just get everything, and it's like, it's so fascinating to watch you just clean, and everything is so shiny afterwards, and I don't understand. Like, I feel like I do the same thing, but when I do it, everything has streaks and I miss all the crumbs and it just looks gross.
Right.
It's just so there's the expert level, and then there's somebody trying it for the first time, and you gotta. And if you're dealing with something like electricity, trying to run electricity from a power pole that can actually just like kill you, don't just do it. Hire a professional. Clean your house. Yeah, clean your house, even if it doesn't look great. It's not going to kill you usually. There are ways. I'm not going to mention how.
So like
read the bottles.
Here's an example of like let me look this up. Let me look this up real quick. Okay. Oh no. Sorry, you keep talking about that.
Oh, sure.
I thought it was going to be easier to look this up, but it got weird.
Okay. This can actually circle back to fish keeping. As we were talking about people who have to test all the time versus people who have been doing it for so long. Like if I'm walking past one of my aquariums and I can just kind of go and I sniff and I go, all right, that one needs like a big water change today, because I can tell, because I can smell it. I can smell the tank. I'm like, oh, the tank is gross. There's something in there. I need to do like vacuuming or whatever in the tank, probably change an extra bucket's worth of water out of that tank. Do some filter maintenance and squeeze it all out, and then probably change the water again tomorrow too.
Better.
It happens. Sometimes some of my tanks are really overstocked, or I can be just watching my fish, and if I see a lot of them going to the surface, even though the food is down on the bottom, it's like, okay, I see what you're telling me. Picking up what you're laying down. Or fish that usually eat ravenously and they're not. That's another thing. It's like, okay. Most of the time with my fish, it just means they need water change. They want some fresh. And that fixes it, rights it.
Right.
But for other people, that's when people are like, okay, so now I got to do the tests and try to figure out what's going on. Because they don't know. You don't know. You don't know what smells are normal coming out of your aquarium. And it's hard to describe a smell. Like if somebody's texting you or whatever and they're like, I don't know, what's wrong with my tank? My fish are doing this. And I'll be like, do a water change. Does it smell bad? And they'll be like, well, I don't know. What does smell bad mean? And it's like, okay. All right, okay. Get out your test kit and start doing some tests and then tell me what the readings are.
What are the readings?
What are the readings? And then the frustrating thing for somebody like me is when somebody says, my the water's perfect. It's perfect. It's exactly how it's supposed to be. And it's like, okay, what are the what are the readings? Like, just do the tests and come back to me. And then it's like I don't know. You need to learn how to float so that you can start swimming. I don't know. I don't know how to make it any simpler. You need to learn how to keep time with the song before you can get that epic drum solo going on.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
What do you got over there?
I don't know. I'm just gonna look at the chat real quick.
Uh-oh, reading chat.
Yep, reading chat. Reading chat.
Wayne Talbot says, USA, same as UK, today's wealth has been accumulated from our sad history of working slavery.
Well, that's true.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately.
The sun never sets on the British Empire.
Imperialism.
Yes. Although it does now. I think now they're mostly back to their island.
Mostly. Sharpie says, watching expert craftsmen is always fascinating. I've been watching antique watch repairs lately.
Ooh, that does sound fascinating.
Nice. People like me can't even smell their aquarium. I can smell RO water, but not other types.
Interesting.
I do find that, like, leaving the area and then coming back, you can normally... Because, like, the way smell works is you're going to smell a differentiation in one air to another. That's kind of, like, an easy way to explain, like, why...
You gotta...
Like, how you smell stuff.
Because you get nose blind.
Yeah, if you're immersed in the smell, you're going to have to go clear out and then come back. So that might be a method that could help you out. Like, I've found that before where I'm, like, working in the fish room, like... I'm out there for, like, 3 hours, and then I... come inside, like go to the bathroom or something, and then go back out, and it's like, whoa, Nelly, I've been cleaning filters and all sorts of crazy stuff in here. I bet I smell funny. Yeah. Like wringing out old filters and pulling
and
things
then you're
out
like,
of
I'm going to have to do
I got probably a little
wash all the way up the
I'm probably
arms.
a little stank. Like, oof. What's this fishy business?
Right, fishy business.
Yeah, because like sort of like with my wild rant there a little bit ago. One of the ways I wanted to tie that in so that people could kind of understand a little bit of what I'm talking about is that, like, I think only 9% of the United States are unionized workers that are under a union, and most of those are federal employees.
Yeah.
Almost all of them are federal employees, like the post office. You know, and it's one of the police, firemen, schools. Yep.
Electrical.
Yeah, there's electrical unions, the longshoremen, stuff like that. But I mean, you're either associated with the federal government or you're in the periphery of the federal government. You know, and the military. You know, I mean, they're not really unionized, but you know, you kind of see how that is, where there's everybody's under the same umbrella of you know, the same benefits and all that kind of stuff. And you know, this country was able to flourish and continue to grow and do fairly well and make big steps when we had robust social systems like large unions, workers' rights, and those kinds of stuff. And that stuff is important. And it's very easy to neglect it when it's not referenced as something that's very important. But like prevailing wage is a good example of where people could start to look into, like, the wages that you likely are worth. You know, most carpenters and whatnot, framing carpenters in Washington State, if you're an employee, you're going to be making probably $23 an hour. The federal prevailing wage, which prevailing wage is essentially what the large conglomerate and with steady increases in pay every year is what is the agreed wage to pay.
Mm-hmm.
And that the lowest rung right now is $38 an hour. So you start to see like a strange discrepancy over time. And it's, a lot of it has to do with the last 50 years of living in this country and watching that stuff get stripped away. And I'd like to see more advocacy for that kind of stuff. And it's one of the reasons I'm such a big fan of the post office. Like, you're talking about people that you could walk into that job with no skills, basically a high school graduate, and work your way up and have a great career and retire and have a retirement with health care and all that.
Mm-hmm.
All the things that the general population needs, everybody, right?
Yeah.
I love how the healthcare thing is such a hot button topic for a lot of people, where it's like, I eat healthy and I go jogging, and it's like, do you think you're not gonna die? Like, do you seriously think you're an immortal person? Like,
go jogging. What if somebody runs you over with a car?
right? Yeah. What happens? Like, well, I was healthy, so I didn't want to pay in.
Well,
yeah,
my
it's one of those
vegetables
things.
will mend my bones for me.
The world's smallest fish room says, I'm going to go out on a limb here, but is Mr. Joel not a big fan of the government? I'm a fan of the collective bargaining agreement that we all make on a regular basis for community action in order to move forward, right?
Yeah.
Like, the cooperation of the whole is always going to be greater than the individual effort. That is the reality.
Mm-hmm.
That exists, period. There just really isn't much. There's not any evidence out there that to the contrary. I know that there's a lot of people out there that will preach about their bootstraps and how they're going to, they don't want to pay for roads. They don't want to pay for this. They don't want to pay for that. They don't blah, 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 blah. And they'll go out there and they'll scream about how taxation is theft, and all this kind of crazy stuff. And you'll be driving around in a Toyota pickup truck with American flags and a "Don't Tread on Me" and a this and a that and the other thing, and kookalooing your way through life while other people support you.
I'm always, whenever we bring up the whole roads situation, I'm always reminded of when I was, 17 and had my first car or whatever, and it would go out driving on the edges of the city that I lived in, and there was this one spot that was gravel road instead of paved, just just in front of one person's property, and that was it.
Right.
And I always thought, this person fought very hard to not have to pay whatever taxes to pave in front of their house, or they're somehow unincorporated or something. And I always thought it was the weirdest dang thing, just for like 150 feet or whatever, gravel road, and back onto regular road again. And it just, I don't know. Is it worth it to have to maintain your own road?
Maybe he got a lot of time on his hands and wants to maintain his dirt road for whatever reason. I don't know. I guess it's for the benefit of the individual to, I don't know, how many times did... So, I mean, the question is like, how many times did people come bombing off that asphalt into the dirt and get a flat? Did he have to pay for it? Was he liable to pay for it? Because my guess would be that dude or lady, whoever, that person, would fight tooth and nail that it wasn't their responsibility, that somebody else's tires failed, right?
Right.
But, if your house is on fire, you call the fire department, right? You don't think, like, taxation is theft.
Right.
It would be very weird. It would be very weird, like, if your house caught on fire, to just, like, pull up a podium and start screaming about how taxation is theft and blah, 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 blah. Like, I'm not going to pay into this community and just watch your house burn to the ground and then what? Wander off?
Or
I
just
guess.
sit there with your hand pump on your well and a bucket and just
Right.
be like splashing water on it.
Splashing some water at it, or the see, the thing is, like, all the pure capitalism was tried in the United States, and it didn't work so good. Like when the fire department was for hire only.
Yeah.
So you basically, like, so here's the thing, like, instead of negotiating the contract ahead of time that this would be for the community good and it would be funded and blah, 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 on all the stuff that we have now, back then the fire department would just show up and be like, yeah, I'm going to need like $200 before we put this out. Right? And you'd be like, you got to put my house out. My house is on fire. We're going to need $200 like right now. Or we're not gonna. We're just gonna leave. And you, guess what? You get extracted in a way that actually looks like thievery, right? Because somebody has leverage against you in a position that you didn't even decide on, right? And then your house burns down because you only had $183. And they were like, the price was $200. See you later, jerk. And then they just leave, right? So, like, this kind of stuff has been tried in the United States, and it didn't work, dude. It did not work. That's how we got Rockefellers. That's how we got the
sounds like
Carnegies.
the healthcare industry right now.
Man, that's just like such a hard discussion to have, just because of the layers of it and the fact that there's so many points of obstruction where, like, people like they don't want to be a part of the community, I guess. I don't know. And it's just like you see it with the anti-vax people. The people that, like, don't want to get vaccinated because you made something up. You made up some story in your head that you don't want to do it. You know?
Andrew Wakefield.
Andrew Wakefield. Who's Andrew Wakefield?
Oh.
Do
He's
I
the
know?
guy who invented the whole vaccines cause autism.
Oh, that guy. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
liar. Yeah.
Yeah. Former doctor.
Former doctor that legitimately just scammed the system.
Yep.
By lying about how.
Because he wanted to sell individual vaccines instead of do the MMR. He wanted to do measles and then mumps and
That's
then
right.
rubella.
He wanted them all to be individually dispensed. So
and then it all just got away from him, and he was like, "Damn."
Oops. Oopsie doopsie, liar man.
Which is hilariously awful.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy sucks. And by the way, we still hear that. You still hear that from these, like, kooky people that, like, who's the all gas no brakes guy? Who's the all gas no brakes guy? What's that dude?
I don't know.
All gas no brakes guy. What was that guy's name? What's his name? Andrew Callahan. Speaking of Andrews, right?
Right.
Wasn't the other guy Andrew Wakefield?
Yep.
Yeah, Andrew Wakefield. But Andrew Callahan, young man from old Seattle, Washington. He's the all gas no brakes guy, which now he's actually Channel 5. He goes around and he just interviews, like, kooky political things and just kind of stays fairly neutral and whatnot. But he was on I don't know, I forget, he was on something the other day, and I was listening to his interview, and he was talking about it that a lot of the anti-vax people were the people that were involved in the sunning their perineum.
Hi.
Do you guys remember that fad? Do you guys remember that fad? People were sticking their buttholes up in the sun to try and reach God or something. I don't know. It was bizarre. It was like Bizarro World. And it was literally like, oh, all these people are just kooky weirdos. Like, whatever, no big deal. But then you find out a couple years later that, like, these people are so invested in these incredibly bad ideas that thinking that getting sun on your bun's hole
Can
is
you
going to
imagine
somehow...
getting a sunburn back there?
Can you imagine? Yeah, can you imagine getting a oh my God, like a 3rd degree, like, sunburn? You're trying to put aloe on your butt, right?
You're just trying to walk because the skin.
Oh yeah,
Most people, anyways,
have some kind of crack
skin-
situation.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I mean, if you stick it, like, if you're all spread eagle butt sunning, oh my God, Oh, this conversation got totally weird. We've been demonetized by YouTube. I'm gonna guess that this episode will probably get banned. But we do got a $3 super chat from Austin Newbie. Says blue green algae smells like an old damp basement or somebody's sunning their butt. Who knows? But it could be pretty close. Aloe vera sunburned buns hole. He's getting closer to God, right? Yeah. So and he mentioned that like all those kooks had become anti-vaxxers over the last couple of years, and it brought up a point to me that like that people have a tendency to go down a rabbit hole and then they get like wildly invested in these bad ideas, and then shame stops them from clawing their way out, right? Right?
Yeah.
Like if you fall for Scientology, right? Then like you can never leave Scientology because everyone's like, hey, dude, you were wrong. It's like, hey, man, sometimes you're wrong, right? Like you just got to deal with I'm wrong all the time. I'm wrong like 99% of the time I wake up. I'm just wrong the whole time.
You just
every once in a while.
the wrong side of the bed.
Once in a while, I just smack a dinger, a little home run, and then I'm like, I'm correct, and then...
just keeps you going to the next
right
time.
back to being a dum-dum.
Oh.
But yeah, like it's weird that people have that you get so invested in the bad idea that they can't get out from it. Oh, Jack Kawamoto with the $5 Canadian super chat says, just because I am enjoying this after only joining 5 minutes ago.
Well, thanks, man.
Yeah, we're a couple hours in. We're getting a little loopy down here. I think we lost all of our oxygen, guys. We went crazy. What was our other topic? Oh, I was talking about the solar power thing.
Yeah.
And then we were going to talk about Galaxy rasboras, otherwise known as the celestial pearl danios. They're badass fish.
They're really pretty. I've never kept them.
They are a badass, awesome fish. I highly recommend getting some.
How big are they? Are they like this?
They're
big?
little guys.
Little
Yeah.
dudes? I like.
Well, I think maximum size probably like
Oh, really?
like
Yeah.
white cloud.
Okay.
They're small, but I don't know, like little fish swimming. I don't. Maybe it's this big. They're small.
Your head.
Yeah, I'm crushing you. I'm pinching your face. You can't do that. It's against the rules. It's a copyright claim. You can't crush my head. That's copyright claim.
I feel like if those guys
That's intellectual property.
found out that we were doing that, they would be like, oh, they remember from like 20, 25 years
That's
ago.
like 30 years ago. That's a Kids in the Hall, right?
Yeah.
That's Kids in the Hall? Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And he's all,
Yeah.
snaps his fingers. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So good.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good
Love
bit.
it, dude. Uh-oh, I pronounced his last name wrong. Kawamoto. I don't know how to say it. Kawamoto? I don't know. I'm gonna start to sound like I'm gonna start to sound like a jerk if I keep trying. Is there a special butt sunning articulated deck chair available? I think so. Somebody's got to sell that. I wonder if it's on Amazon.
Oh, I think
Let me
if you're
see.
doing that, you have to be a yoga person, though. So you just kind of go out.
Do you have to be a yoga person?
I don't know. They just kind of do it.
Oh, DJI has the Pocket Osmo 2 is out now, but not the Action.
Oh, I thought maybe that was related.
No, there we go.
Oh, okay. I was like, that looks like a camera. You're
is a
taking
little
camera of your butt?
Perineum ice pack. Oh, perineum ice pack. For your buns, perineum ice pack.
Huh. Oh, okay.
Perineum sunning chair. Let's see. Let's see if there's like a perineum.
Hey, Aquacat. Thanks for joining. We got a member.
Oh my God, we got a new member during the show.
During
Oh
the
my
show,
God,
we're
Alyssa.
talking about buns.
Talking about that's it, man. I'm talking about buns holes all the time now. Jeez, we're gonna get new members. We probably lost 5. Probably lost 5 members.
Oh,
Bunch of people left. They're
man.
like, dude, there's no way I could ever be a member of this channel anymore. I gotta go.
Okay. Kawamoto.
Kawamoto. Is that right?
Kawamoto. He says it's like Kawasaki, but instead of saki, it's like moto. So
Like motocross.
motocross. Okay.
Okay.
Kawamoto.
Kawamoto. Did I say it wrong? I don't know. It was the first time I've ever read that word, I think. And
Kawamoto.
I have a tendency, like when I'm broadcasting onto the internet in front of, let's be honest here, 3 to 5 million people right now. Good Lord, our viewership is so high. Everybody hit the like button and break the internet, break the YouTube. The number will go up to 45. Oh my God, it'll be wild.
It would be.
So the thing is, like, sometimes when I'm broadcast, I try to read people's names, and there's something wrong with my brain. And every once in a while, I'll read like the weirdest name correctly, and then all the other ones I'm like, let me sound this out like I'm 5. Hold on. Sharpies. Oh, Sharpies. Okay. Models. Wait, I just said models. What's wrong with me, right? And then I just say models forever after that because I don't know what it is. Like, I immediately get stuck. Okay, so I'm looking up for if there's a perineum sunning chair. There does not seem to be one, unfortunately, which is terribly bad. But I don't want to leave you guys chairless. Let's find...
What about those upside down?
So here's the
things
deal.
that
I don't want to leave you
your
guys
back?
chairless if you happen to be going on a perineum sunning Is it a vacation? I guess it's not a vacation if it's like a holy pilgrimage, right? It's sort of a holy pilgrimage, I think.
I thought you just do it every day. Like you just do that as
Do you
your
do it every
morning
day?
It's
No,
like
no,
your
no, no,
morning
no.
med-
They go up a mountain. They go on a big hike, dude. Like, it's not... This
Oh.
ain't no, like, I
You
just
have
go
to
out
get,
of my backyard.
You have to get closer and out of the ozone layer so that you get more radiation onto your buns holes.
Yeah, you got to get up high. You got to get up high. So there's a link right there to the best outdoor freestyle rocker portable folding rocker chair, okay? And if you don't have a camping rocker chair, all sorts of people have told me that it's so awesome. And I literally am like, I don't know, I got my non-rocking folder chair, and I like mine better. But everyone tells me they like the folding rocker chair. So I'm the one dingleberry that doesn't like it that much. Because I have an REI style camp chair. I don't know if REI even sells anything on here. Do they sell anything? No, they don't. I think you have to go to REI to buy REI stuff because it's marked up, incredibly expensive. We bought them out of necessity, and we had like a huge coupon when we were in Montana. Vicky and I were trucking. Hey, we got to get on the trucking on the road. That's not a song, so don't get mad. But we were out there doing that. We were in Montana, and we had completely not brought any camp chairs with us. And I'm going to tell you something. It was moist out.
Oh. Was it dewy moist?
Do we have a moist sticker? We do. It was moist, just like this sticker outside. And every time you sat down, you got your butt wet. And if you get your butt wet, you can't do your perineum sunning, right?
Yeah.
You know? You
Well.
got to try to get the sun to go in the bun's hole and fill your soul with the bun's hole. Soul. Sun. Beams. Clip it. Clip it. Get the clip. Get the clip. Put it up. Hey, there's no editor. If there was an editor that did with this channel, like, I would be like, hey, editor, get that clip and put it on TikTok. Put the TikTok clip. TikTok, TikTok. Sun's your buns. TikTok, TikTok, TikTok. Sun in your buns. Oh! Yeah. So we're like, yeah. I was trying to find that camp chair, but the REI ones that we have, they're not on the internet. That doesn't exist. You have to go to the store apparently. But we bought them out of necessity because we had a big coupon. We had a coupon. We had one of those coupons, those advertisement coupons, and we needed camp chairs desperately, and we went to REI. Uh-oh, Haley sent me a message.
Extremely glad I'm not the only person who
One of my
says a
coworkers
coupon.
sent me a message. That means something's broken.
Uh-oh.
Hold on, let's take a look here. Sunning and gunning and running and bunning. Oh, leave me alone. Yeah, so that's what's up with whatever I was talking about. I got distracted by this text message I got from the coworkers. Yeah. Okay, so we got a new member. Aquacat has come in as a new member. That's unbelievable. Which means I got to push buttons over here. I got to move all these other layers out of the way. Let me try to... There we go. I'm going to put the number over my head. That means we have 81 members, you guys. That means we are 619 away from independent content creator. You guys could do that on Patreon also if you like. The goals are on Patreon and dollar amounts. Somebody asked me about that a little while ago because they were like, I don't understand, like, what's the number? And I'm like, I put the numbers on Patreon. So if we hit those goals, I will stop doing all these side construction jobs and my standard construction jobs and just make videos for you guys. That's basically
Still
how
help
that
me
goes.
with mine.
Yeah.
Okay. Sweet.
But that no, I'm saying like if we hit that production money goal, I can free up the 50 hours a week of working on YouTube videos instead of having about 8 hours right now, 4 hours on Monday and 4 hours on Friday to do a live stream.
Yay.
Which is basically where I'm at right now. I'll admit it. I stayed up a little late last night Minecrafting my giant hole.
Yeah.
I am... To those of you that aren't on our Minecraft server.
In the Minecraft, did the mining, not any other kinds of holes.
Yeah, hey. Keep your head out of the perineum gutter, okay? Yeah, no, I've been digging a giant hole on Minecraft. I stayed up a little late last night because I was trying to get another section of it dug out. Yeah. And I realized today that Wesley was like, dude, you got to start dynamiting this. And I was like, what do you mean? And then he dynamited a giant hole in it. And I was like, I got to dynamite this. You're right. So I might start some non-ecological Minecraft mining here pretty soon. But yeah, my giant hole on our Minecraft server is getting bigger, and it's pretty impressive. You know? Yeah. If you do happen to be a member or a patronizer, you could join up on our Minecraft server. You just go over to the Discord, and then you can contact everyone on the Discord and be like, hey, I'm whoever. Oh, my God, Zipgun. Is Zipgun calling in? Zipgun, are you calling in?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, my God, I forgot to take the calls today. Oh, Zipgun was in there waiting for us to check.
Oh. How rude of just you.
How rude of just me to not have the Discord open. I think I was looking at Amazon stuff, and then I didn't have the Discord open because I'm an idiot.
Oh, no worries.
So
Very entertaining conversations today, all the way around.
What's going on down in Florida?
It's getting hot.
Is it hot?
Yeah, it was nice when y'all were like burning up, and now y'all are getting back to normal. Now we're getting hot.
Oh my God, it's cool today. It's unbelievable. Today's the one day that it will be cool this summer.
There's this fabulous breeze just like coming in and just like gently kissing the back of my neck. It's really
68 degrees and overcast. It's unreal. It's unreal. This is the first day where you go outside and you're like, oh, hey, you could just run out here. If you felt like running, you could just run around like a maniac right now and not die of heat stroke.
Yeah, I could do all the gardening today and not just like an hour.
True.
Yeah.
I don't even need to mow my lawn, and I think I was just going to mow it.
Just to be outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's hot down in Florida. How are your cats doing?
They just got back from the vet. They're doing good. They're a little pissed off and don't want to be held, but running around like maniacs, so they're recovering.
Oh, yeah, well, that's kind of how it goes. I've had my dog at the vet, and we'll see how that dog goes.
Yeah, keeping fingers crossed for Mr. Chips.
Yeah, we'll see. He should be. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't even want to predict anything, but we'll see what happens. He's doing better than he was the other day. So
he greeted me at the door.
Yeah, he's running around.
Yeah.
Hey, it's okay. Don't cry.
I'm not crying.
Mr. Chips still an old dog. He's had a long
I
run.
know.
So yeah.
I know. I'm fine.
But Rumpust says head squeeze copyrighted. That's Smith for the press. I don't know. I'm confused. I have no idea.
Something for the press.
Something for the press. I'm confused.
Head squeeze copyrighted. That's something for the press. Oh. He's saying that's news to him.
Oh, you have to look up. For people that are wondering, the pinch your face and I'm crushing your head is from a show called
Kids in the
Kids
Hall.
in the Hall.
It's Canadian.
Hey, they're supposed to be coming back and doing something soon.
Yeah, I think there's a
Are they really?
yeah, I think there's a reunion something. I think there's a reunion series or something like that.
Because I love them.
I forget. I saw one of them was being interviewed about it or something like that, and I recall them talking about like, oh, it was so much fun to get back together and blah blah blah. Wes Barshinger is wondering any more Minecraft live streams. Yes, I do. I do have plans on doing some more Minecraft live streams. I was basically getting to a point where we're trying to get the updates and stuff done and things along those lines so that we can reincorporate the Bedrock players, the non-Java players, so that because when you do a live stream, like a bunch of people will want to sign up, and then it will suck if the people are only on Bedrock and they're like, I can't, wow, and then you're like trying to figure it out during the live stream. But yeah.
Yeah.
Because of the new update, we haven't updated the server yet so that Bedrock people can log in. Just because it's work, and I don't personally do that work, and the people that do that work are busy. So that's a simple explanation, I think.
We're working on the generosity of other people's time.
That's right. We're dealing with other people's generous time.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I've been learning some Minecraft stuff.
Oh, I was wrong on Rembest's.
Oh, I was an attempt on a play on words for a dad joke.
Sorry, Rembest, I misunderstood. Sort of invented a meaning all to myself.
Yeah. Rumbus has been around for a long time supporting the channel. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate you. All right, Zip. So what do you got? What are you bringing to the table? You got any new fish or anything? What's happening?
Nope, I'm getting motivated to set up my 40 gallons because I think I've finally tracked down a location for Florida flagfish up here, and I need to go splash around in some puddles and see if I can catch some.
Nice.
Ooh.
I like the Florida flags. Those are cool fish.
Yeah, and they're really hard to find up here.
Really? Seems like
Yeah,
everything
Central
is-
Florida, they're a lot apparently a lot easier to find. Though we're still supposed to be in the biome for them.
Right. It seems like everything is just loose in Florida. Like it's just out there. You just go outside. You're like, I need a. What do you need? A parrot? Oh, there's one over there. Oh, what do you need? A.
Heck
Boa
yeah,
constrictor?
You need a. Yeah, you need a boa
Quaker
constrictor.
parrots, go down
Yeah,
south.
right
You can grab yourself some Quaker parrots.
God, it's just
I got
bizarre.
monkeys in Central Florida, pythons, caiman.
Yep. Someone was
Plecos.
talking earlier about plecos being invasive, and that's definitely a thing in Florida. The big
Yeah,
ones.
common ones. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
a menace in Central and South Florida. Up here,
Mhm.
it's cold enough that a cold snaps will cut them back.
Good.
Oh, I was trying to figure out who Big D Smoke was talking to, and I realized he just said, "Damn, autocorrect." Like, oh, okay. I was like, he said, "Thanks, Aquamarine," and then I was like, "Who's Aquamarine?" And I was looking through the chat there and not seeing it, and I'm like, "Is there something weird going on?" Probably. Michael Boulos is here, but Boulos, what's up, buddy?
You gotta
Michael
mispronounce
Bublé!
it worse.
What's that?
You gotta mispronounce it worse.
That's right. Boo Blue. Is that how you say it? Right? I think so.
Blues Clues.
If you were down at the what do you call that? The auction house. If you were at the auction house, they'd be all like Michael Bobo, Michael Bobo, and they'd be all like, you know, they'd be like 45, 25, 45, 25, 45, 25, 25, 25, 26, 27, 26, 27, 26, 27, you know, and then you're like, what are they bidding on? You know, what? And you can't see what they're bidding on, so you can't even place a bid, you know? Because
Right.
you're like, what are they bidding on? I don't know. And then you, like, try to look, and then the guy's like, 28. And you're like, oh, wait, no, not me. I don't even know what this is. What are you selling? You know, and they're like, 400 head of cattle. I'm like, oh no, that's not me. I can't buy 400 head of cattle at $28 a head. That's wild. I don't have that kind of scratch.
You don't have that kind of space.
I just can't. Just no, dude.
Even if you were to...
Zip, how many cattle do you have right now?
I have 0 cattle.
0 cattle. Okay. What, you got plans to expand in the future or what?
For cattle?
Yeah.
I don't have room for cattle. Don't have any land for cattle.
No
But
land.
there are a lot of cows in Florida.
There are a lot of cows in Florida. That's true. Not like in Washington, though. Good luck. Lots of cows.
Yeah, the Dudas and a couple of the other big ranchers down here.
Cows and apples and salmon.
Cherries.
Well, the cherries are rolling deep right now, dude. I
We
had
got
some the other day. I had some cherries the other day, fresh off the tree.
Blackberries.
Not in my backyard, but from the guy who had them.
We got the sugar cane and the citrus.
That's the question with those fruit stands. You guys have fruit stands in Florida?
Yeah. There's you can still find them. I mean, they're a little passe, but you can still find them.
Oh, all right. So there's like somebody out there trying to hawk some oranges or something.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I guess oranges kind of suck though, really, when you get down to it.
Really?
Not oranges are awesome.
Yeah,
Hey
I
man,
like
oranges are great, but like, I don't see anybody sitting down and eating 4 oranges. You know what I mean?
Well,
But
that's
I
a lot
definitely
of
see.
oranges.
But I definitely see people sit down and eat 400 cherries,
Yeah.
which is easily more mass than 4 oranges. They get those giant bags of cherries, and people just sit there like spitting the seeds out in a bowl, you know. And then you're like, dude, you're gonna have to sun your perineum later because it's gonna be busting, dude. It's gonna be ripping quick,
Yep.
you know.
And get the
Yeah,
fruit
but
juice.
they don't sit down and have a tall glass of cherry juice.
Like a Shirley Temple.
Like a glass of orange juice. You don't make a big old glass of. You can add some.
You know, this is kind of a hot take here, but orange juice is garbage. It's got no fiber in it, dude. It's just sugar.
Yeah.
You
Well,
have to
unless
have
you
the
get
pulp
the
in it,
pulp, I
man.
guess.
People get that pulp. They don't want the pulp. No, you want the pulp in the orange juice.
That's
Squeeze
not-
your own, man.
Even that pulp orange juice doesn't have enough fiber in it, dude.
Man, I got one of these like old 70s squeeze your own orange juice. You get plenty of pulp in that.
Yeah, you got one of those?
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
not a-
yeah, I mean, if you do like a real deal orange juice, that'd be all right, I guess.
I'm
I
not a
guess.
juice person.
But it's pretty
myself.
garbagey, man, because I'm like, I want some raspberries, I want some blueberries, I want some avocado, I want some spinach. I want that in there with the orange juice. I want that all, mix that all up, dude.
But-
Throw some
but
mango in there.
Growing
Just
up, we
grind
had
Just
about,
grind it up into a thick paste, and I'm gonna.
So you like smoothies?
Yeah, I like smoothies, dude.
All right. This
Yeah,
guy,
but when
he likes a smoothie.
It's got all that fiber in there, so you don't get diarrhea.
when you're a kid and you got 6 orange trees in your back and you run around, get hungry or thirsty, you snag an orange and peel it and eat it up. Man, that's the way to go.
That's a way to
It's on
go. Yeah.
trucking.
I mean, it's a direction that you could go in for sure. I think.
Yeah. For me, I'm more of a eat an orange, drink a glass of water.
Right.
And if for some reason I'm having a glass of orange juice, I'm one of those people who will thin it out with water.
Oh, you thin it out.
Yeah, I do. I can't do full strength orange juice. It's too much. It's like
Oh, Sharpie's Models has a good point here that fruit juice doesn't have caffeine in it. Enough said. It's true. It's not coffee.
that's true. You could grind up
Coffee
like
is one
caffeine
of
pills and put
coffee
it
is
in?
easily one of the most majestic things that's ever existed.
I gotta
Coffee
try
is
it.
awful.
Oh no, you shut your mouth.
And my aunt married a guy
You shut your liar mouth.
from Jamaica whose family owns this big coffee farm. So they get like this wonderful coffee, and it's like, oh, that's just awful.
It's wonderful coffee, but it's just awful.
Yeah, because it's coffee. But for coffee, it's wonderful.
Oh, okay.
like blue, so they got a portion of the Blue Mountain, I guess. So they actually have Blue Mountain coffee.
Okay.
Nice.
Oh yeah. So Aquacat says Shirley Temple over orange juice any day. There you go. There you go. And we were on a fact-finding mission, and we found facts.
If instead of Sprite, you put soda water into it.
That's how you're actually supposed to make it.
Oh.
It's supposed to be club soda, and then that cherry,
Oh, okay.
the cherry stuff. It's not
Grenadine.
It's not supposed to be grenadine. It's supposed to be that cherry. God dang, what's that stuff called? It's like, man, we used it in the kitchen all the time for. What did we use that for? It's like a demi-glaze type sauce or whatever, but it's this cherry puree.
Oh.
Stuff. It's like, man, what the? Hold on, I'm gonna look it up.
Man, if I've been having wrong Shirley Temples my whole life, they've been feeding me Sprite with grenadine in it.
Well, yeah, that's
Fake
like,
Shirley
that's the-
Temples, man.
That's the
Don't
poor.
drink it.
That's the poor Shirley Temple. That's not really how it's supposed
That's
to be.
how
made.
you feed them to kids. And
Cherry
it's just
puree
like
for
fizzy
drinks.
sugar.
Here it is. It's like this cherry puree stuff for drinks. I'm trying to see if I can find. Let me see if I can find the right one.
Faux Shirley Temples.
Yeah, it's like this one. No, is that right?
From the chat, Jack
Yeah.
Kawamoto says,
Here's one.
well, he wants to know if you drink your coffee black or if you take cream
Me?
and sugar. Personally, I'm a cream and sugar kind of person.
You know what? Like I used to drink my coffee black, but I'm old now, so no, I don't do that anymore. I do like what I do, like 1 sugar and 2 cream. I think is basically what my kind of to describe my ratio. I like a little half and half in there and a sugar.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just to take the edge off, because I'm like 100,000 years old or something crazy like that, and I figure.
Black coffee hurts my stomach.
Black coffee just hurts my general constitution at like wanting to be alive anymore. Yeah, I'm just like, I don't know, dude.
See, it's awful.
Unless it's cold brew, like you can do a cold brew with no coffee and sugar. That's slow. You gotta have that
Yeah.
slow. You know.
Do you want to know what's something kind of interesting about when I was in Minnesota recently, and they asked me to pick out coffee for some family function or whatever, and I just went to the Cub Foods. If you guys are from there, you'll know what a Cub Foods is, and I picked out store brand Seattle coffee, and I was like, oh, this will be fun, we'll see. And it was a dark roast, which I like because it's not quite as strong, and everybody was really complimentary of the Seattle brew. I don't know what made it Seattle brew. They just thought, oh, she picked out Seattle brew because she's from Seattle, and I was like, well, yeah, I thought it was hilarious.
That's pretty funny.
It is funny.
That's true.
But we don't have that here unless you're getting the like Seattle's best.
Right.
But then it's Seattle's best type, like French roast or
right.
whatever. And I don't know what Seattle brew technically is, but personally, if I'm just picking something off the shelf, I'm like, I'll just get a French roast. Usually whatever's cheapest and whole bean, because I have a grinder at home.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. It really does.
Yeah.
All right, it's after 3:00. Zip, I'm hanging up on you.
Oh,
We've got to
dang.
go.
We've been on for 3 hours.
It's too long. I got to go to bed now or something. I don't know. Bye-bye.
Oh,
Hey,
goodness.
Zip. Well, I think we lost Zip.
Uh,
He left us or something.
he decided to stop talking.
He's playing with his cats.
That's fine.
Okay, we love you, Zip.
I'm listening to your coffee conversation.
Oh, okay. Well, we gotta go. We gotta go. Yeah, that's why I'm hanging up now. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye now.
Yeah, Sharpie's had a can of Mr. Brown's coffee. Yeah, that stuff's good. It's like Vietnamese coffee. I think actually to relate it or not. I think when I decided, or when I switched over to having my coffee black, is when I started having Vietnamese coffee. So it's that slow drip, and then it goes into some sweet. What is that? Sweetened
Sweetened
condensed. There we go. A little bit of sweetened condensed milk, and then you pour that over ice, and you're like, booyah! I think that's when I decided to start going with a little milk and a little sugar in my coffee when I started having those all the time.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, guys. Big thanks to our super chatters of the day: Rumbust, Big D Smoke, Austin Newbie, and Jack Kawamoto.
Kawamoto. Moto.
Man, I'm going to say it
Let's
wrong
go
forever.
Moto.
I'm sorry, Jack. I love you. And we have a new member today, the Aqua Cat. And nobody knew on Patreon. Yeah, true. Nobody knew on Patreon. No new patronizers, whatnot. But, hey, if you find that you happen to open up your bank account statement or something like that and realize, oh, dear Lord, I've got an extra $1 billion in there. Lordy. This checking account's on fire. You're like, hey, I want to take some of my billions of dollars and put it towards a project that I think would be fun and entertaining and hopefully somehow educational, probably on accident.
And occasionally talk about sunning your buns.
Spin over to my old Patreon there and just drop a quick couple mil there, and I'll go ahead and start making these ding-dang movies I want to make. To everybody out there, I will continue to do live streams. And those people wondering about produced content, I am working on produced content. I am not going to release anything that I find error with at this point. If I'm finding problems, I'm trying to fix them. And I'm trying to make what I would call a season. I'm trying to make a season of videos that make sense.
We just got another member.
Oh, I see that, dude.
It's really cool.
I have the chat open right over here.
It's cool.
It is cool. It's fantastic we got a new member. That means that we might be able to convince Alyssa to come back next week. But we'll have to come back next week on Thursday. I don't know if that'll work for Alyssa. We'll find out. We're not going to put her on the spot during the show. Don't say anything right now. We'll harass her and see if she can do a Thursday maybe. Because I've got a thing to do on Friday. Probably not with my per diem, but maybe.
It comes with you everywhere you go.
But big shout out to Jason Livingston. I might have gotten that one right because I've read both of those words before.
I presume.
I've read those, I think, at the standard level. By the way, we do have producer vacancies. Some of our producers left. They were like, nah, we're not going in for this per diem sunning type talk. Nonsense anymore. We can't be associated with this, and they left.
Right.
But one of them did come back. Big shout out to Robert for coming back and continuing to be at the producer level. That's wildly generous, my dude. And Florida. So we'll just say Florida because those Floridas, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, Jason, thank you very much for becoming a member. That's 2 members in a show. That's insane. That's unprecedented. It's unprecedented this week. We've had more than 2 in a show before, but hey, that's cool. That means maybe people are economically looking better at this point. Maybe that's what's happening. I don't know. If it is, that's good, and I would like, at the very least, let me know what's up. Yeah. And if you did become a member or whatnot, we'd like to see you on the Discord. Just roll through the community tab on my YouTube page, and you'll be able to scroll down through there and find the Discord link on the members-only posts. Okay.
Yes.
All right. I got to go sun my per diem, I think. I think that's what we got to do.
What's that show we watched together? I can just remember you and me. Flipping channels, but my mind is watching slideshows of our memories. It's late at night, I know you're gone, and I can't sleep 'cause you moved on. I wish we tried, 'cause